But I just have a sense that you're a bad guy.
That's the wildest take I think we've thrown out in a while. Maybe Derek Barnes is just a big diva, and they got to keep this guy happy or the team's going to implode.
That's kind of what I'm gathering from this.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds here in the Sode Shack. Tonight, we are going to be looking at training camp nuggets from all 32 teams to decide if we are buying the hype or if we think this is overblown. Addy, it is good to have football back in our lives. The Hall of Fame game, I think, was just canceled. I don't know. It was a weather delay, and I think they just said, screw it, let's call the whole thing off.
Yep.
But football's back, baby.
Everything's in its right place. Very nice to have it back. Nice to have all these little tweets coming out throughout the day, even if they're sometimes not positive. Just nice having football news.
Football is back, Bobo. You were saying that this time of year, it's mostly good news, so you're mainly paying attention to the bad news.
Yeah, you got to, because you got to take into account a lot of this information is coming from just like team reporters, and how well do some of these people know ball? It's just, you got to take it with a little grain of salt.
Little bias.
I think every wide receiver
fanboys.
that's a rookie this year is going to be a wide receiver one from what I can tell on Twitter.
It's hard when you're cover the team day in and day out. I think you're just too close to it.
Probably.
It's like the team, it's like your children. You can't really pick out your children's flaws because you love them and you're too close to them, right? I think the team and the beat reporters is kind of a symbiotic relationship like that. So, yeah, I always think if a coach says something positive about a player, just ignore it. Yeah. If they say something negative at this point in the offseason, that's a big red flag.
Yeah, like what's the Coach Allen down there in New Orleans?
Dennis Allen?
Yeah, basically saying, like, you can't make the team in the training room. About Kendre Miller, it's like, I'd pay attention to that. Like, that's
Kendre may not see the field or the team this year based on – because it's like – there's really no reason for these coaches to say anything other than, like, glowing praise right now because we really don't know a lot. These guys are just now getting back into the swing of things. And so if they're going out of their way to say something negative, that's not good. I
appreciate the people, too, that keep up with the percentage of lies that a lot of these coaches tell. Like I think it was Pete Carroll a lot of times would go opposite maybe the way that he would say, like, there's going to be a heavy dose of Kenneth Walker this week, and it wouldn't be. It would be like Geno Smith unleashing it 40 times. So I think it's interesting, too, to kind of pay attention to, like what is the old New Orleans coach who's in Denver right now?
Sean Payton.
Made a pretty firm statement today about one of the running backs, and I was like...
Javonte Williams, right?
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Like, it looks like a completely different guy, and it's like, am I buying this right now? Like, I don't know. It's a hard time of year to make trades, I'll say that.
Yeah, there's everyone is great, and then takes one piece of news to tank someone's dynasty value, or takes one bit of, well, this guy's lining up with the threes, and you're like, well, there goes that whole team that I constructed with this guy, or there goes my best ball shares with 80% exposure to this guy.
More than anything, too, it's like the Bolton injury, to where it was like, when I saw it the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? That's the stuff right now for me that's like, please don't get hurt. Let's just get through healthy.
Yeah, don't let it be a devastating season-ending injury. We have had a couple of those so far we're going to get into tonight. But we're going to go division by division, team by team, and we're just going to suss out, is this something worth paying attention to, or can you just ignore this and block this out? So, gentlemen, let's jump into it. And let's start in the NFC North with one of the teams that was just playing in the Hall of Fame game, the Chicago Bears. Defensive end Austin Booker, their fifth-round selection, has started to rotate more with the starters in camp, including during practice on Monday. He played opposite Montez Sweat, has resulted in opportunities against left tackle Braxton Jones. And speaking of Montez Sweat, Coach Eberflus had to remove him from the 2-minute period after he made contact with Caleb Williams for the second day in a row. So Montez is fired the hell up.
Don't you touch Caleb.
I was going to say, please don't do anything.
Them pink nails.
Don't do anything to this pink-nailed baby before he gets to play a snap. I think, fifth-round rookie, whatever, but this is at least worth monitoring who it's going to be opposite Montez Sweat, because there's nobody there.
Right, yeah. It's not a very scary depth chart, so yeah, he could have an opportunity. But is it likely that he's productive, You know,
Probably not.
probably not. But how many times have we seen a 5th-round rookie?
There are some candidates for like this year's Yaya Diaby, right? That kind of later round rookie that gets an opportunity and plays well. Like I think about
Marshawn Nealon.
Marshawn Nealon now with the Sam Williams injury, which we'll get to. I think about the guy in Denver,
Jonah Ellis.
Jonah Ellis, right? I mean,
Yeah, those guys are all like 3rd-round picks, though, 2nd-round picks.
Yeah, a little higher.
But, I mean, yeah, Austin Booker landed in a perfect situation. We did like him pre-draft, you know, good athlete. Just seems like a bit of a project, though, right? That was the talk about him. And so you don't expect him to contribute right away. But, I mean, we've seen crazier things happen, you know.
just worth paying attention to who gets that starting job opposite Montez Sweat.
Yeah.
Because I think there's value to be had there. It's just a matter of, is the guy that's there any good?
In March, when Daniel Jeremiah is watching tape and tweets about Austin Booker has the skills, has the size, has the speed, but again, like Adam said, is a little bit of a project. Those are kind of the things that I pay attention to where it's like, okay, I need to make a note on that. But honestly, from an opportunity perspective, if Austin Booker can be anything, I mean, that
He landed in a good situation.
Yeah, I mean, unless somebody, there's no real free agents left to be taken unless you know, a big Micah Parsons trade or something, you know. That's one thing that I've been seeing is like, if the Bears are just like, we got a rookie quarterback, we got a rookie wide receiver, you know, they've got some expense there on the defensive side with TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, Montez Sweat now. But
Yeah, let's go get another Khalil Mack.
yeah, let's just push it all in.
Push it all in. I was going to say right now it shows DeMarcus Walker, who we like. That could be a nice little post-hype sleeper there, you know. So, but that shows you the quality of the depth chart. It's Jacob Martin, DeMarcus Walker, Dominique Robinson.
Yeah, it's tough scene.
It's open, I think.
Austin Booker should be owned, though. You
Yeah.
should. In your leagues, like, you know, your 50-man rostered leagues, you know, sleeper leagues where you start 4 defensive linemen, I think you should, if you have room for them.
Especially if you have a taxi squad.
Thing is, though, man,
great stash.
waivers are loaded out there.
Yep.
I mean, you can find some really, really good pieces. So it is tough to make room for guys like that. But yeah, maybe it's just somebody you star and
Keep an eye on.
yeah.
Keep an eye on.
It is tough because if you're active, you might be able to find a guy like Austin Booker on waivers, but who you're dropping to get him is sometimes like,
Yeah.
Well, just pay attention in the preseason because this could be one of those positional battles that really shakes out in the preseason. If, you know, he goes out and balls out during the 3 weeks of the preseason, he could earn that job outright. Who knows?
I was thinking about you the other day when a lot of times over the years in trades, you have basically said that you always want the side that has the better player.
Yes.
Even if the package is nice, give me the one player that's better. And in IDP, I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, that really makes sense in IDP. If you can flip a couple like okay players for one better player, it kind of helps with your sleeper roster to where it's like, my team might be just okay now, but if I can trade a couple okay players for a better player, and just kind of not necessarily saying that you're going to do that 10 times or whatever, but if you can do that a couple times and get some better defensive linemen, some better linebackers, it really makes sense in IDP.
Yeah.
Because there's only a handful of guys in IDP that are really, you know, guys that we don't want to trade. I don't know.
There's a lot more upside on the waivers, too. So it makes
Yep.
sense to try and consolidate and get as elite as you can at every position because I think you can go out and find those guys that have upside.
You can
like
replace,
Austin Booker,
you can replace
Jonah
the
Ellis,
depth
or-
on your bench through waivers, you know?
Yep.
So let's talk about the Detroit Lions, though, because there's a couple pieces of news here that it's very much in hype season. And so I want to get y'all's kind of take here if this is just training camp buzz or not. Perhaps one of the most underrated players on the defense. We should mention a lot of these stories come from either, I think, Bleacher Report or The Athletic. Aaron put this doc together for us. Basically just grabbing little bits of news that he found. Perhaps one of the most underrated players in this defense, a Derek Barnes breakout at Sam linebacker could be huge. He's playing a position that suits him, suits what he does well. They could have a true playmaking linebacker in Barnes, and if his play in camp carries over to the season. Okay, Jack Campbell has been a mainstay at Mike linebacker and seems to be growing into his voice. Okay. Brian Branch to safety is a real thing. It's clear the team is mentally preparing him for a move to safety each time he's practiced, he's been a starter at safety as Kirby Joseph and Ifeatu Melifonwu rotated next to him, though Joseph looks firmly entrenched as the starter.
Man, that's going to upset a lot of people in
Let's start there because Melifonwu has been kind of a sneaky little value pick in these drafts, and if we've got Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch at safety with Melifonwu as the third guy, that's not what I was anticipating to be the case.
Yeah, no, Melifonwu finished as like DB1 over the final 5 weeks was absurd. So yeah, everyone's still hyped up about him, but there's a lot of risk, man. I haven't really felt comfortable taking him as high as he's been going. Do we have the ADP?
Yeah, I'll pull up the ADP here.
It's a top 15. He's a top 15 safety, I'd imagine, which is it's a lot for a guy that we really only saw like a 5-game sample of him being like good.
And that team's had a lot of these guys for a while,
Tons of DBs. They brought in tons of DBs.
He is safety 14.
Yeah, so that's way too high. That's too damn high.
Well, I get it in a sense because nobody finished hotter. So playmaking, upside, it's all there.
It's fresh on everybody's mind.
Exactly. But it is a small sample size and a team that has some change in the defensive backfield. Derek Barnes, I mean, get out of here with that. We're not buying like what, a fourth, fifth. I mean, if we have another Alex Anzalone situation with Derek Barnes, I will probably step into traffic. Jack Campbell, let's talk about this because I think this is really where the juice is with this linebacking conversation. We know Anzalone is going to be good. Are we buying Jack Campbell now as this team's LB2? Because I'm not.
I think so. I think he'll be the LB2, but Derek Barnes is going to be annoying too. I
think that's the problem is like even if it is Jack Campbell as the LB2 does that translate to 75% of snaps? If you've got Derek Barnes breakout hype in camp.
And he got a lot of snaps last year.
Exactly. He was the second linebacker behind Alex Anzalone.
So, yeah, it's not really the news I wanted to see out of Detroit because I was hoping, we'd have, more clarity. But, I mean, the news about Campbell's been good. So it's like, I mean, they can say all this stuff right now. And also, I mean, I don't know what Derek Barnes is like. Maybe they want to keep this guy happy. Maybe, who knows?
Head case.
Could be. Could be. Sorry to
disparage
assume.
Derek Barnes.
But I just have a sense that you're a bad guy.
That's the wildest take I think we've thrown out in a while. Maybe Derek Barnes is just a big diva, and they got to keep this guy happy or the team's going to implode.
That's kind of what I'm gathering from this.
Let's just say he's a breakout. He's been playing great in camp. Yeah, I don't know. I want the Jack Campbell thing to happen, Bobo. I think we're still just a year away from it being truly what we want it to be.
Alex Anzalone's still a really good linebacker. Regardless of whether Campbell plays more snaps than he did last year, I don't know that you're going to outseat Alex Anzalone as the LB1 there in
Jack
Detroit.
Campbell, LB29, Alex Anzalone, LB31.
The other thing that we talk
Make it make sense, guys.
The other thing we talk about, too, it alludes to the Brian Branch information, but they have a lot of good defensive backs that make a lot of tackles. So it's like, really, how valuable can the LB2 in Detroit really be there when you're sharing all these tackles with these other good, like, corners and safeties? I don't know, man. Jack Campbell is... I know we all want it. I guess. I mean, I'm fine with Alex Anzalone. I'm not really
especially at those prices.
I'm not a huge Jack Campbell like stan. I think the guy could be fine, but I'm not the one over here that's just like shaking my head saying like I just can't believe he's not the LB1 there. Like, no, Anzalone is awesome.
It may be one of those situations where it's like Green Bay, where it's like they draft guys legitimately 3 to 4 years before they need them.
Yeah.
Which is interesting team building because you don't get a lot of runway with a guy before you got to give him a second contract at that point. Yeah. So I think letting rookies kind of season and develop on the bench their first year, maybe even their first 2 years is good. But I think we could be looking at another frustrating situation.
I think it'll start out frustrating, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think Campbell's going to eventually just overtake.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the safeties are going to be the same. I think you're going to be aggravated for a couple weeks.
And then,
I don't want any of them outside of Branch.
But
he's so damn high in ADP. I will occasionally take him.
It's probably your fault.
Yeah.
Mostly your fault.
Yeah, it's he's DB2. We still have him listed as a cornerback, so we'll get that switched. I'll be curious to see where he's going among safeties, but he's DB5 right now. So probably
same
safety 4
range, yeah.
If he's CB2. or safety 3, maybe. Well, no, because it would be probably the big 3, I would think. Bates, Winfield, and Hamilton.
No, I think he'll be 3. I think he'll still be 3.
Let's see where Bates is. Bates is, DB6. So there you go. I guess he would be safety 3 then, behind Hamilton and Winfield.
Derwin may be 3.
Yeah, that's true. So he'd be safety 4. Okay. So let's go to the Green Bay Packers. Speaking of safety, the starting spot alongside Xavier McKinney very much open. Javon Bullard, Evan Williams rotating in, and then Rashawn
Evan
Gary.
Williams, isn't that like a whiskey?
That is a whiskey.
Sure.
That is a Tennessee
Hell yeah,
whiskey.
I love that.
Sure.
Rashawn,
Hope he gets it.
Hope he gets it. Sorry, Bullard. Seemed like a bad guy.
Hey,
him
we're
and
saying
Barnes.
Call it like I
We're
see
saying
it.
it.
Bullard and Barnes.
Sure.
Rashawn Gary notched 3 would-be sacks in a 4-play stretch. He was feeling himself, dancing in the middle of the field, staring down Andre Dillard, and going wild for fellow pass rusher Kingsley Enikbare from the sideline. So, Rashawn Gary, I mean, I think one of the biggest post-hype kind of sleepers. And I don't know how much hype there was coming off the injury last season, but I think he's still being slept on for the upside he has.
Agree. I took him at 5'11".
Wow.
In a best ball today.
Yeah, let's see
That's
what
the latest I think I've seen him go.
See, so I think
39.9 post-draft, which is like, what, the 4th pick of the 4th round?
That's what he should be.
Yes.
He should be in that range. But anything later than that,
Edge 20, though. You talk about a guy going damn near as an edge 3 that could finish as a top 5, 6 edge this year. I mean, that's some nice value. I love that, especially dual Desi, right? So
Yep.
give me a lot of Rashawn Gary.
I was shocked. I was like, wow, why is he here?
Yeah.
going
People
on?
just, I mean, I'm telling you, I think people just sort of, not wrote him off, but he's just the injuries. People coming off these injuries.
And we've given a little bit of shade to him recently, just based on his last year, right? It was just very up and down. But he was recovering from an injury. Like,
Exactly.
We understand that. He was a baller before he got hurt.
I want to be in on these guys the second year removed.
And the PFF stuff is always elite with him. Like, he's got a great pressure rate. I think it was like over 15% last season. So, I mean, yeah, I'm very much in on Rashawn Gary. I expect him to be in double-digit sack range.
Yep.
So
it's the edge rusher opposite that I'm interested in, because we love Preston Smith.
love Preston Smith.
As a value pick. Lucas Van Ness, also
Like him.
sexy. So, speaking of edge rushers, let's talk Minnesota Vikings. Christian Darrisaw was asked about Dallas Turner. He likened his explosiveness to that of former star edge rusher Danielle Hunter. He had a spin move last week that was quicker than Danielle, Darrisaw said with a laugh. I was like, damn, this guy is going to be special. Addy, I'll give you the solo cam for this one.
Yeah, I saw that quote. It was the F word, though. It wasn't
Was
damn.
it? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Arn, for
Yeah.
editing that down for us.
But I mean, that's amazing. I mean, Christian Darrisaw, one of the best tackles in the league. We just saw him get paid as such. So, yeah, everything I've been seeing is this guy looks like the real deal. I think he was being slept on quite a bit, man. I think he's. I'm just excited for the season start, dude. I think that it could be a little bit slow. We've touched on this a lot. He may start out a bit slow, but yeah, I think that he's going to come on midway through, and then it's going to be curtains.
This is yes. We had yes or BS before. This is a yes situation, Bobo. I think Addy is just about as excited as you can be for. Is this the most excited, like, storyline wise, that looking at the season, like, you're just most excited to see Dallas Turner?
Man, there's a lot. I really liked a lot of these guys. DeJean's a big one. That's going to be fun for us.
Yes.
Cole Bishop's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, Turner is pretty special because he's also with the Vikings and everything. But
I just go back to the fact, Bobo, what if he just comes out and is their best pass rusher from day one?
Yeah.
Just like clearly, like far and away, like, oh my God, we can't. This is a Micah Parsons. We can't get this guy off the field.
I think this IDP class is going to be more interesting than we probably gave it credit for back in like February and March. Like Latu, we'll get to him. Yeah. He looks crazy. Jared Verse looks crazy. Braden Fisk looks crazy. There's a lot of hype for a lot of these edges and these D tackles this year. So, and I honestly think, going back to the Austin Booker talk, there's going to be a couple like dart throws that all of a sudden we're like, oh, wow, Austin Booker's okay. Marshawn Nealon looks good. Mo Kamara's getting run.
exactly. I mean, all those guys you named, all those guys have like a real shot at opportunity next year.
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
Yeah,
you never know.
Could be like I think about Chop Robinson in Miami. We'll talk about him in just a little bit. It could be a situation too. I was thinking about, I know the guy was just awful from like advanced stats kind of perspective. I think his missed tackle rate or first contact rate. I remember John was just dogpiling on Maris Leofau for the Cowboys, but I was like, I mean, you know,
they took him in the third, right?
That's right. They took him way earlier than anyone thought. And yeah, I agree. I think every year there's this rookie that it's like, well, nobody really expected this guy to be like a top 5 LB, but here he is. And so it's fun kind of thinking through who that could be. But speaking of the Cowboys, they're up next. Yes, unfortunately, Sam Williams lost for the season, torn ACL in his left knee. So that does open the door for Marshawn Nealon. Coach Mike McCarthy said, very impressive, very mature, love his physicality motor, just like we did during the draft. He's off to a good start, very comfortable, picks it up in the classroom, outward personality. He's off to a good start. Through 2 days of camp, Parsons has been taking more snaps as an off-ball linebacker. In recent years, Parsons has excelled as an edge pass rusher. This was an expected change as Zimmer took over as defensive coordinator for Dan Quinn, something to pay attention to. DeMarvion Overshown, showing promise early in training camp. There's still reason to be concerned about the depth of the Cowboys linebackers. Eric Kendricks will wear the green dot this season and be the man leading Mike Zimmer's defense. Overshown is the other bright spot. But after those two, it gets a bit ugly. So sorry for you Damone Clark stands out there. Trayvon Diggs practicing for the first time since his season-ending injury last season. He is off the PUP list. And then the Cowboys signed. Did they sign Al-Quadin Muhammad?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I saw the Colts signed Al-Quadin Muhammad. I was like, he's back, baby. Because obviously we have a need now there as well. So Cowboys signing former Colts free agent defensive end Al-Quadin Muhammad to a 1-year deal. So, Bobo, what jumps off the page here for you from this Cowboys news?
I don't know what to make of any of that, to be honest with you. I mean, Eric Kendricks wearing the green dot. That's what we expected. Overshown, yeah. There's still a lot to show us. Al-Quadin Muhammad.
You can't quit this guy.
I don't know. Maybe he just didn't have any help up in Chicago. Maybe down there in a rotational situation, we could see him maybe similar to like a
Is he the Dante Fowler replacement, maybe?
or kind of dude that just
Dorrance
went
Armstrong.
to yes, Dorrance Armstrong is who I was thinking of. Somewhere in that kind of realm would be a good year for him. But no, I don't know. The Cowboys, there's a lot to figure out there. But I don't know what to make of it outside of Parsons and Eric Kendricks. You know, safety. What do you want? Trayvon Diggs, is he going to play? I don't know. There's a lot of question marks there this year.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Wilson, I like him a decent amount, but you still got Jerron Kearse there, right?
Yep.
Malik Hooker's still there, right?
Yep. And now no Dan Quinn, so
I like D-Law. I'm big in on D-Law this year. I think he's going to bounce back. I think those are the options for Dallas. D-Law, Parsons, Kendricks.
Are we sleeping at all on Trayvon Diggs?
Nah,
Just
no.
so Jaron Kearse is a free agent. I was like, one of these guys is a free agent.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it is Donovan
Then
Wilson and
I
Malik
should have more
Hooker.
Donovan Wilson. Damn. He's always there late in these drafts, and he's got nice big play upside.
Yep. So I agree. I think it's the edge rushers for me and Kendricks, and that's really about it.
is
I don't
Bland's
know.
ADP still high?
Let's see.
Not too bad.
Really?
No, I've taken him late in some of those.
Yeah, he's DB 33, CB9 going at 185.6.
Oh, that's
post-draft.
too high. That is too high.
That's chaotic that Trayvon Diggs had that insane season, and then basically Bland
Went and
bookended it
set
with
the
same
record
thing.
for pick sixes. I mean,
Crazy.
that's insane.
Crazy.
So let's move to the Giants. Starting linebacker Micah McFadden's workload continues to be monitored. He suffered a hamstring injury in the spring, so the Giants are gradually increasing his reps. He was replaced by Carter Coughlin, or Deontay with a D-Y-O-N-T-A-E. Johnson midway through each team period Monday. Backup linebacker Darian Beavers made an impressive leaping deflection. There you go. To knock away a DeVito pass up the seam. Is Tommy DeVito back with the Giants? I did not realize this.
He is.
Beaver faces an uphill climb for a roster spot. Sorry, Bobo. But he's looked healthier in his second season back from a torn ACL. Brian Burns has been a valuable asset in there. He gives us a lot of input. He's a good communicator. I think Kayvon bounces things off of him, but he'll bounce things off of Kayvon as well. And then, Bobo, just for you, Isaiah Simmons, who has struggled to find a position since being the 8th pick in the 2020 draft, worked with the slot cornerbacks on Wednesday after missing the spring with a calf injury. The 6'4", 238-pounder stands out among the otherwise diminutive slot corners. Let's talk about Isaiah Simmons, Bobo.
I sure hate for Isaiah Simmons to take a step in his 5th year. I'd sure hate it for all the haters out there.
They'll be sick.
They're going to be puking.
Puking,
Just sick.
puking like who was the big fat offensive lineman that was a total bust for the Jets? Mekhi Becton.
Oh, yeah.
Threw up 10 times with his first practice with the Eagles, I think.
Did y'all see the guy pitching the
Which
other day in
tracks?
the MLB, puking mid-pitch?
No.
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
That is sick.
A couple guys, I think, mid-pitch. That's unique. I've seen guys go to the back of the mound after a pitch and rip a puke. And
So
then
he was sick.
rally.
Oh, yeah.
He had something going on.
Saw a great golf clip made me think of you. It was like, at 2:30, like, go ahead and book that 7:30 a.m. tee time. We'll be fine. And the guy's off to the side of the tee box throwing up while the guy just totally duffs it off the tee.
Sounds like a good golf trip.
Good golf trip.
What
But
if Isaiah Simmons could work in the slot?
That'd be amazing. Like if they gave him like a full 80 to 100% of the snaps, that would be outrageous.
I saw in the last couple of days he threw a little shade at Wink Martindale, basically saying he was like, Wink wouldn't play me, man. He was like, I didn't get on the field ever. So I think he was a little bit, and Wink can do that, man. I like Martindale, and I think he runs an okay defense, but he's a little bit old school, and Simmons, man.
So right now they have him behind Drew Phillips for the nickelback slot corner role on our lads.
That was their draft pick out of Kentucky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
it's a rookie because he's highlighted orange. So safeties, though, for them, Tyler Nubin, Jason Pinnock, and then Deontay Banks and Cordell Flott are the cornerbacks.
I like
so,
Deontay Banks quite a bit.
Yeah, me too.
yeah, that defense, we'll see. We'll see.
They're going to be terrible.
I think
Worst team in the NFL this year, maybe?
it's tough because I think the Panthers will be there as well. I think the Raiders are going to be pretty bad.
No, man, that ain't going to be the Panthers.
Boy.
I love that dude. I love that dude so much.
There's just a lot of teams where the bottom could fall. I mean, the Cowboys could be bad, if this thing goes. I mean, they're not paying anybody. That defense is just – it's got some really good, star players, but it's
Cowboys, you think?
there's always just a team. The Dolphins come to mind as well. That's just like we all assume they're going to be good because they were good last year.
Yeah.
And every year there are teams that just wildly disappoint compared to expectations. I think those teams line up as regression candidates.
Or a big injury or something. We already saw the we'll see what's going on with Geno Smith.
I know,
he's
he's
getting
been
his
out.
hip and knee looked at.
Well, and I saw Lamar was being held out. They're trying to finally figure out why does he have the immune system of a Victorian era child is a tweet that I saw.
His
It's like,
doctor in the press conference was like, Lamar, I'm concerned about you.
yes, he should be. This man is sick more than a guy with 20 kids in daycare.
Did you see what they said about the backup in Seattle, the quarterback, Sam?
How?
Ow.
They said he has had an almost alarmingly inaccurate training camp. The Baller said
Almost
that the other day, and the
alarmingly.
way they phrased it was
That's amazing.
I think it's pretty alarming then. Sam Howell slinging it to DK. Good luck.
Let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles in a key position battle. Devin White and Zach Bond were the first linebackers out during team drills on the first day of pads. N'Kobe Dean subbed in for Bond and also received first-team reps. Nolan Smith's workload expected to increase. He spent the majority of his rookie season as a platoon defender as Bryce Huff prepares to fill in for Son Reddick in a starting tandem with Josh Sweat. Smith must prove his proficiency against both the run and pass to maintain positioning over incomers like rookie Jalix Hunt. And then Cooper DeJean expected to miss 3 weeks with a hamstring injury he sustained during the offseason. I think until proven otherwise, the Zach Bond thing
Seems real.
might be a thing, but this might be like 2024 Frankie Louvu, where it's just sort of an out of nowhere guy that just gets a chance with the new coaching staff. I don't know. We'll see. Are you just totally out though on the Philadelphia linebackers, or are you willing to jump in there for one of these guys?
No, I'll take Bond. I mean, he's going super late.
Yeah, let's see.
Now, it's going to be up there. I'd say he's going to get inside the top 60 linebackers now.
Yeah, he's still post-draft. Well, he fell post-draft, but I think if we looked at the most recent 2 or 3 drafts that have happened, he's probably been rising because he was LB 96.
All right, look at the linebackers 50 through 60 and
Okay.
read those names off.
Yeah, let's see.
Imagine drafting Vaughn in like February. People would be like, huh?
What? This guy's still in the league? Okay, so starting with LB 50, and this is just their overall ADP. Edgerrin Cooper, Shaq Thompson, Micah McFadden, Pete Werner, Drew Sanders. This is an awful group of linebackers. Willie Gay, Devondre Campbell, Tyrell Dodson's still down there for some reason, Dayon Henley, Denzel Perryman, and Isaiah McDuffie.
I mean, I'd want him over basically 75% of that list.
Exactly. I'd want him over Edgerrin Cooper, maybe Shaq Thompson, probably Micah McFadden,
Yeah.
I want him
Pete
over
Warner.
Thompson.
I mean, Drew Sanders, obviously, because of the injury.
Henley's
over,
getting some buzz, so probably not him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's close.
Willie Gay, Devondre Campbell. I definitely want Dodson
I
and
want
McDuffie over him.
Yeah, I want McDuffie more.
Yeah. So
That's close.
I think
He'll be up in that range.
I mean, look right behind him. That's where I think he could overtake pretty much everyone 60 and down, because it's like Dre Greenlaw 61, Landman going to be another riser. I don't think he'll be sitting there at LB 62 for long. Then Leo Chenal, Jamin Davis, Damone Clark, David Long, Peyton Wilson, KJ Britt will be moving up. So,
But that's the thing. Like, we got, we're looking at the dots now in the offseason. We got Mike scoping these dots out.
Yes.
And it's like, man, I don't know. I'm a little hesitant to crown Landman yet, you know? And I feel like you're just going to kind of feel like at some point the rug's going to get pulled out.
yes,
from
I just
underneath
want to wait and see. Like Jace had a great article and video this week for his IDP deep dive series, looking at Landman, and maybe we know it's going to be Caden Ellis. So if I want to grab someone from that group,
Yeah.
I'll just take Caden Ellis.
That's who I want as
Yeah.
well.
Are you losing time on trading Nakobe Dean? Like, is
Yeah,
it ever going to work for
I
him?
think that you may have run out of time with this Bond news.
Yeah.
Like because I think most people, I mean, maybe you still have folks that are holding out hope that this Bond thing is just smoke, but
like you talked
I
about.
don't know, man.
You talked about on the last episode, you're like, man, most of these guys come back around. Like, Pat Queen got bad, but then look, you got another deal. Same with Jordan Brooks. But it's like, if Nakobe can never get on the field, there's never going to be that second chance.
Yeah, that's the thing. We saw it from
Gotta
those
have
guys.
tape.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can't stay healthy, man, I mean, as a linebacker, where you're gonna be having contact all the time,
Yeah.
like it may just not
concerning.
work out for you.
Some guys just aren't built for the league. I mean, I didn't even know this, but we had Michael Gallup retire. I saw where Tariq Cohen retired this week. There was another running back.
Rashad Penny.
Rashad Penny retired as well. So
And that was the story about Nakobe, right? He was undersized, had the injury concerns and stuff. And now maybe it works out someday. Like, think about Denzel Perryman was always a guy that was always banged up and hurt early on in his career, but he eventually got somewhat healthy towards the end and gave us a couple years. Like I feel like that's like what Nakobe Dean could be.
Yeah.
Some point, maybe after he's 25, 26, maybe he's relevant.
if they're exhuming the corpse of Zach Bond to start over you, that is very worrisome.
It's
to
not
me.
good. And then Devin White, who's not,
Exactly. Devin White, who got
No
benched for
world beater
KJ
either.
Britt last year.
Right.
So I don't know. If there's any chance you can sell Nakobe Dean, I think you should.
You probably can.
If you can
better
get,
do it quick.
if you can get
You buying though
No.
for a fifth.
Not interested.
for a fifth,
I think it's a roster clogger,
I think he is. I just think just put him out on waivers and maybe blow your waiver priority if you want to pick him up. Blow your brains out. Do that too if you've got Nakobe Dean. Let's talk about a linebacker I am excited about though from the Washington Commanders. Frankie, 6'3", 235-pound ball of energy, will line up at numerous spots along the defense. That's what he did with the Carolina Panthers. Cowboys star Micah Parsons, whose role Luvu fills, did that under Dan Quinn, Dallas's former defensive coordinator. That's what occurred on the second practice of camp. Jamin Davis has struggled so far as an edge rusher and hasn't been used at linebacker. The 2021 first-round pick must show something in training camp. He has moved Davis to a pass-rushing role. He wants to take advantage of his length and athleticism. I don't know that Jamin Davis is a lock to make this team. Derek Forrest appears to be the third-string safety currently, sitting firmly behind newcomer Jeremy Chin. So not great on the Derek Forrest news.
I tell you.
You did. I'm not. Well, we'll see how it shakes out. It's early. But the Frankie Luvu news, this is just, I mean, was a layup, right? This guy is in that sort of Micah Parsons build and has that prowess coming from Carolina. We saw it. And it's like, of course Dan Quinn's going to use that guy like Micah Parsons.
Yeah, it's a perfect situation, perfect marriage there. Excited about Louisville. I mean, I expect basically the same type of production we got in Carolina. 100-plus tackles, maybe he hits over 5 sacks.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's just who he is as a player. So, I love Frankie Louvu. I've gotten quite a bit of Frankie Louvu this offseason.
Sitting as LB16, that feels fine.
Yes, that's great.
Very
That's
happy
so
with that.
good.
What if that's really far off? What if he needs to be like a first rounder?
I mean, you could make the case.
I
You
mean,
don't have to take him there. He's going as 45.9.
I agree. I'm just saying, like
end of the fourth.
Everyone else at letter. I mean, everyone else is because everyone else is going to take Nick Bolton.
Exactly.
Everyone's going to take I love Ernest Jones, but
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting up at like linebacker 4 now, linebacker 5. It's like, geez.
I almost kind of disagree with you, Josh, from the perspective of I don't know that Ernest's setup is built for him to have a much better season than he has in the last couple. Like, obviously, I hope he can progress, but he's played a lot. I mean, honestly, I think there's a world where I think Louvu, as well as he's played the last couple of years, could get better. Like, I think you could have only seen 80% maybe of what Louvu can do. Now, all of a sudden, like, you're getting to it's almost like a little baby Ernest Jones, because, like, Ernest Jones got to play alongside Bobby Wagner there for a year and learned a ton, and then grew after that. Like, Louvu, supposedly, from what I can tell, is just soaking up everything that Bobby Wagner tells him. And if you're already relating a linebacker here to Micah Parsons-esque role in Dan Quinn's offense, dear God, man, he could be crazy.
Yeah, I'm writing up Frankie Louvu for an article for reasons we will announce here very soon, and we're very excited about. But I think we forgot how good Frankie Louvu was in 2022. My dude averaged 18 points per game across 15 games. And when you take out the games that he didn't play, he was above 90% of snaps. So this guy is not like an edge. He's a great cheat code in that you get linebacker type volume of snaps with a guy that's playing a lot of edge rushing.
Yeah.
Playing a lot as an edge rusher. So
And I hope they're not going to use him exclusively as an edge rusher.
yes. I hope he has an opportunity to play alongside
Or just do what he's been doing.
Yeah, exactly. Just
You know?
copy and paste what we saw in Carolina.
Okay, just for a second, in Dynasty, Louvu or Zaire Franklin?
Oh, man.
That's a really good
one.
question. What's the age?
Louvu's like
Louvu's
27.
27.9, Zaire's 28.1.
So very close on age. I'll probably take Louvu just because of the big play upside,
Okay.
but Zaire's really
I don't
good
know.
too,
That's
especially because he's locked in there now with the new contract.
Okay, let me give you another one. Louvu or
wash.
Jack Campbell?
Ooh, boy. Probably Jack Campbell just because of the age. But it's
You're
very
my
close.
ranks.
So you're going where, Louvu?
I'm going Jack Campbell.
Okay. Addy?
Give me ranks.
I'll go Jack Campbell, I think.
Last one. No, actually two more. I lied. Louvu or Nick Bolton?
Probably Louvu.
Louvu, old brittle elbow.
Brittle elbow.
That is worrisome.
Just the elbow.
It is worrisome.
Last one. Louvu or Bobbio? Bobbio's 28.
Boy, that's tough.
Man.
Because have we seen the best from Bobbio?
Yeah, I think so.
Bobby O played 100% of snaps last year.
Yeah.
Like, I bring that up every time I can because that's not likely to repeat.
2023, Bobbio, 17.2 points per game. Louvu was 12.3, but you're exactly right, Josh. In 2022, 18.1 points per game.
Crazy.
That's
He
what I'm
was
chasing.
Crazy.
Give me Louvu.
It's just that upside, that tantalizing upside on a new team with a great head coach / defensive mind. I'm really excited about that. So let's go to the NFC South, though, boys. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Yaya Diaby has a high ankle sprain. Thankfully, it was not an Achilles. It was not worse. He'll be out for a little bit, but should be back this season. Voss, apparently, is the nickname for Savasier Dennis, is going to be a big part of what we do this year. He's going to play quite a bit, Todd Bowles said. He's learning both linebacker spots, whether it's KJ Britt's spot or Levante David's spot. Stop right there.
You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like Savasier Dennis is not going to be a big part of what
That's
you do
what I was going
this
to
year.
say. So he's learning the spots of the two starters, which is Levante David and KJ Britt.
Yeah.
I think this is, I appreciate when coaches hype up young players and try to give them confidence, but you got your confirmation here that KJ Britt is the starter opposite Levante David.
Are y'all fans of Bowles?
I think he's a bit of a charisma black hole.
Yeah.
Not the most exciting guy in the world. But
sounds like this all the time.
Yeah.
I think we got a good team.
yeah, he's a blank slate. I don't think you can get literally anything from him personality-wise.
He's an interesting guy.
He's a complete opposite of a Bruce Arians.
And that Tampa Bay whole team, was way better than I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be terrible. So you like the fact that he seems to be able to get a lot out of his guys.
They're probably going to be pretty good this year.
I mentioned, too, that they don't have a defensive coordinator.
Really?
Literally don't have one on staff.
Todd,
it's
right?
just Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty gangster.
Years ago, I had a friend that he's a huge Dolphins fan, and Miami didn't have a D coordinator position. Wrote up a resume, sent it in to the Dolphins.
No way.
Reasons why he needed to be the defensive.
Did he get a letter back?
Absolutely not.
I was going to say, maybe just like
I think
a form
maybe he
letter.
did get a letter back, and he framed it and everything, and them just saying like, hey, thanks.
The intern wrote up the rejection letter.
We're good on that. Bro.
Yeah, we're in good shape. Atlanta Falcons,
We're not running cover zero every single
speaking
play.
of linebackers, Atlanta Falcons, they have used Troy Anderson next to Caden Ellis in the 2-minute drill. Anderson and Nate Landman have spent much of the summer rotating, and it appears Atlanta will use the two in specific packages and situations with hopes of best maximizing their skill sets. Anderson will be utilized in more athletically straining spots, while Landman is an early down run enforcing player. I don't like that at all. If the season were to start today, Lorenzo Carter and Arnold Ebiketie are this team's starting edge rushers. Yikes. Braylon Trice, however, does have a chance to steal a starting role. Carter's issues as a pass rusher have been well covered, with his value coming in the ability to set the edge and defend the run. Braylon Trice could be this year's Yahya Diaby, because Lorenzo Carter, no thanks.
Reading off all these names, you're like, God, this defense is going to suck.
This team could suck, because what if it's like, the reason the Broncos were bad was because Russ was bad, but it just takes some time to gel with all of these new pieces coming together on a team sometimes,
And he's coming off Achilles.
Exactly. Like, what if he's just not the same guy at 6, coming off an Achilles?
Yeah, just not yet at least. I think he'll be fine. But, yeah, I could see that happening, and it just all kind of cave in.
Because this defense is pretty bad.
Very, very bad.
It's a pretty bad
one of the worst
defense.
defenses in the league.
Yeah, I think bottom 5.
And you got a new DC in there. Although the DC is good. We do like him.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. You look at one of the most important positions on the field, and you're like, well, Braylon Trice could play because it's Lorenzo Carter ahead of him. Not great. Not great. And then the linebackers, Bobo, I don't like this at all.
Yeah, I don't really want any of them.
It sounds like these two behind Ellis are going to cannibalize each other, which means I don't want either one.
You probably still want Ellis.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm not
See where
really
he's going.
planting my flag on Landman.
He's LB 36, so I think that's fine.
And
he's actually fallen post-draft.
Anderson will be utilized in more athletically straining spots. What are we doing?
Probably edge, I'd say. They'll put him on the edge.
Well, I think they were saying athletically straining spots like pass coverage, so like maybe third down, passing downs. Oh. Whereas because they said Landman is an early down run enforcing like thumper.
That's a bummer.
Troy Anderson is going ahead of Caden Ellis right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If you've just got him running in coverage the whole time.
Now, if you want to just take Landman at LB 62, I mean,
that's crazy. It was ever like that though, just because there was always question marks, in my opinion, whether it was going to be Landman or Troy Anderson. Because Anderson, we just haven't seen enough of him. And Landman was solid from like a PFF standpoint,
Landman
still young.
earned a chance to compete alongside Anderson.
So there at LB 62, you want Landman or Bond?
I think I'll just take Bond because it seems like he's the presumed starter right now. Whereas it sounds like Anderson and Landman is just going to be a headache.
Yeah. Similar situations, though. I think you're going to want to keep an eye on the waivers for both those squads. A lot of teams like that, where we don't know between that second and third linebacker, but there will be some value there, whoever that 2 is.
We know who the 1 is. It's Devin White for the Eagles. It's Caden Ellis for the Falcons.
Yeah.
It's who's the 2 and who's the 3.
Yeah.
And are they both playing equally to where we don't have a valuable 2 and you just say screw it and just take the 1?
Very risky, but a lot of profit potentially there, too.
If you can get it right.
Yes.
For sure. So let's go Carolina Panthers, though, Bobo. We're not talking your new favorite player, Xavier Leggett, I think it is.
Leggett.
I think it's Leggett.
Was that how he says
The
his name?
underdog guys are saying that it is because Josh Norris is a big Panthers fan, and he's like, it's actually like Liget. So maybe he's just mispronouncing his own name.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening.
Possibility. Because I would just go Xavier Leggett. But what do I know?
I think he mispronounces everything.
Every name, actually. Let's go to the Carolina Panthers, though. Jadeveon Clowney is setting the tone through a high-level work ethic and outstanding production. He's not giving an inch despite his roster spot firmly sewn up. This sends a message to his teammates that standards are increasing and they must respond accordingly. Oh, God. Kaylavon Chason has shown a nice explosion on the edge in the early going.
I'll save you some time, Josh. You know what I think about the Carolina Panthers? I think this is one of Adam's better calls on the year. You know who I think could be the most valuable IDP at the end of the season? Trevin Wallace. Everything from camp that I hear about Trevin Wallace is all them gushing about him.
Yeah.
Special player, really good in coverage. You watch. I don't think it could be too long into the season to where you see Trevin Wallace starting to man the.
Because this team's going to suck. This team's going to suck.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of old guys in front of him.
Absolutely.
You know? And
Josie
Shaq
Jewell's
Thompson
not
recovering from a
super-
major injury.
I do love Josie Jewell this year, but, I mean, he's not,
think-
he's shown injury concerns
Exactly
as well.
right.
I think
for
Shaq
sure.
Thompson could be done.
I think
Yeah, I
Shaq
think
Thompson
so,
could
too.
get benched.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that's entirely
But yeah, I've been
possible.
seeing the same stuff. Some good hype about him. And yeah, opportunity should be there for him too.
What's
So,
his ADP?
Who's that?
Trevin Wallace.
Oh, I'm sure he's way down there.
Dude, he could be a league winner. I honestly have that feeling from him.
He's LB 82 right now.
Gosh.
Wow. So go
That's
get
beautiful.
you Trevin Wallace. Let's move to another team, though. It's New Orleans Saints. DeMario Davis hurt his hamstring, did not participate in team drills. He suffered the injury in individual drills, according to Coach Dennis Allen. So, that's just being old.
Yeah, it's tough. It's going to dip his ADP a little bit, and he'll probably be fine.
Yep, he'll probably be just fine.
Yep.
One of the exciting new additions to a strong defense, Willie Gay has consistently made his presence felt. He has made big stops in the run game, covered well sideline to sideline, and has even rushed the passer on
Willie
occasion
Gay.
with success in creating pressure. He's just a little pocket playmaker, man. 3 snaps was all it took for Chase Young to become everyone's top story in camp so far. After spending some time in walkthroughs and some individual drills, he finally moved into team drills when the pads went on and impressed right away. Isaiah Foskey, if he wants to prove this year will be different than his rookie season, it starts in training camp as a defensive lineman. The true test comes with the pads strapped on. They started padded practices on Monday. It's time for Foskey to turn it on.
Turn
So there you go.
Turn up.
Turn the hell up. So, yeah, DeMario Davis, I mean, he'll be fine as long as this isn't like a nagging hamstring injury. Hamstrings worry me.
Yeah, enjoy the value you're going to get.
Enjoy the discount.
He'll be drafted in like the 11th round now, I bet. Also, I noticed like Hassan Reddick is really falling out. Matt Judon, he got drafted like in the 4th round. So, I mean, those have potential to really pay off if those guys, we could look up next week and both those guys report. And it's,
Yeah, exactly. Enjoy the
and
dip.
they jump right back into the 2nd, 3rd round.
Buy the dip while you can.
Yeah.
Who do you like, boys, as the LB2? Let's say DeMario is fine. Who do you have any interest in a linebacker behind DeMario Davis?
Willie.
100%.
Okay. Hey, I'm with it. I think
Yeah, Stinky Pete.
Stinky Pete.
We've been out on Stinky Pete for a long time.
Let's see. I bet Stinky Pete is probably still going ahead of. Let's see. People just want to like Pete Warner, man. LB 53,
He stank.
and then Willie Gay is LB 55.
And for a deeper dynasty dive, Jalen Ford, man, I don't know that he's going to get much run this year, but Stinky Pete, old DeMario Davis, in the next couple years, it might be a guy that we're slowly starting to talk about more because I really liked him pre-draft process. I think he's really fun.
I guess I just have like
They also got
waiver.
Kaliki Hudson in there.
I was going to say
That's true.
waiver bias. My highest exposed player, Kaliki Hudson.
Me too. But from those February and March drafts.
Well, and also, like, I just could see this situation panning out where a lot of linebackers get run for that New Orleans team.
Yeah.
It just feels like.
DeMario's already got the hamstring. I mean, you never know.
And we know Kaliki Hudson's good, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll just, he's going
at least
so
a tackling,
late.
right? We know he's a good tackler. And that's all we're looking for.
Yeah, he is going as LB 78, 293.
Yeah.
So, it's
Massive upside there. If you,
very, very end of your drafts. I'm just like, he's still there. I'll push the button on him. So let's go to the NFC West, though. San Francisco 49ers. The first 3 at the defensive line or defensive end position are clear cut. Nick Bosa, Leonard Floyd. Those are your starter. Old Yeats. Yetur Gross-Matos looks strong in the opening block of practices. He is number 3 on the list. Drake Jackson is not expected to take part in training camp following his January knee surgery.
Drake Jackson, man. Remember that week he had like 3 sacks?
Mm-hmm. We were like, oh, my God, this is it. And then I don't think he did anything the rest of the season.
I think he got hurt.
Yeah. Jackson will likely start the season on PUP and have to miss the first 4 games. The every down linebackers have been Fred Warner and Devondre Campbell, who's filling in for Drake Greenlaw. Something to keep an eye on, second-year player D. Winters, who garnered praise from Warner in the spring and from Kyle Shanahan last week.
Yeah,
so
interesting.
It'll be Devondre Campbell, I'm sure, unless he goes down, so keep an eye. Just know the depth charts, Bobo. You talked about that before. D. Winters, just maybe put a little star next to that guy's name.
And Devondre Campbell is a bit of a weirdo, honestly. You know, I remember the tweets that he was putting out when he was in Green Bay, and they were just like stuff you don't want to see from like a guy that was paid as much as Devondre Campbell
right?
was.
They gave you a huge deal, man.
Yeah, and he was just, it seemed like he just wasn't in a good spot there in Green Bay, but he was very vocal about it. So anytime you have guys doing stuff like that, they're just a bit of a wild card. Like it could go south quickly. Yep. So yeah, I think D. Winters, a guy that I think they took him like in the 5th or 6th round 2 years ago. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Drake Greenlaw could not be ready at all this year.
He could miss the entire season.
Yeah, that's a very real possibility. I mean, the dude it was in the Super Bowl, so don't forget that.
It was as late as an injury possibly could be that occurred in season. So yeah, he was their 6th round pick, 216 overall in 2023. So
whatever, you know, I mean, Azeez Al-Shaair, he had success there in San Fran. He was an undrafted guy.
Yep.
I mean, we could see it easily happen with D. Winters. So
just I love the name too.
that is sick.
It's a fun name.
I like it.
The winter's coming.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh
absolutely.
my God.
Well said, Bobo. Los Angeles Rams, speaking of Bobo, defensive lineman Braden Fisk rushed well against Jonah Jackson in his first rep, got some push. Center Steve Avila stood up against him on a later attempt. He was pretty unblockable through team drills later in practice, blowing up a run play, getting deep into the backfield, completely bowling over a backup right guard. There is a lot of camp left, but Fisk doesn't look like a rookie second-round draft pick. Rookie first-round pick Jared Verse threw a nice spin move on Noteboom, but Noteboom pretty much held his own. Verse and Young at one point were at opposite ends in a team period that featured the first-team defense against the second-team offense. The 2 outside linebackers got around their edges so fast, quarterback Stetson Bennett had not even completed his drop. So that's good. This maybe volumes more about the offensive line. Cam Curl moves differently than most safeties they have had in the past. Fluidity of his handle on the defensive installation to this point and his athleticism stood out against Stafford and the rest of the offense during team drills. Curl and Quentin Lake seem to be the clear partners in the defensive backfield, and both are capable of playing a variety of positions.
That's what we needed.
So
Curl and Lake, man.
I love that we have Braden Fisk and Jared Verse hype, and you guys go straight to Quentin Lake. Y'all are some sickos.
Sure. Hey, this is what we needed, man. I've been grabbing some Cam Curl with the hopes of seeing of some of these tweets and some of this hype, and I didn't want it to kill my my Quentin Lake shares because I'm not a John Johnson fan. We'll see what Cameron Kinchins has to say. I think he's going to get a little bit of play in his first year too, but I don't know how Adam feels about this, but I am thrilled with the Curl and the Lake hype here.
Oh, baby. I mean, yeah, everything I was seeing was Lake was going to be getting that star role, which we know how profitable that was for Jalen Ramsey and just in general for fantasy football. So, yeah, Quentin Lake is like free. You can get him at the very end of your drafts, which I've been doing a lot of, but that is going to change. No doubt about it.
He is DB 119, 348 post-draft.
Yeah.
It's going up.
Which I think
Lovely.
that's undrafted.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
What's Fisk? Look Fisk up to.
Yeah, let's
It's
see.
me and Bob drafting.
Yeah, pretty much. You guys are the only ones that have given him
Quentin.
ADP. Braden Fisk is DL 107, D tackle 27, going at 217 overall.
But so he's way lower than Kobe Turner.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So 217.6. Kobe Turner is 101.9.
Wow.
Oddly enough, I do think there's a world where you look up and you're like, Braden Fisk better than Kobe Turner. Like, I think Kobe Turner was just a product of environment playing with Aaron Donald last year. I think he's a good defensive tackle, but I don't think he's...
Fisk is a freaky athlete, isn't he?
Oh, my gosh. His RAS
Blew
is
up the
insane.
combine, didn't he?
Yeah. What was that metric that he, like, I don't remember. Something was crazy. His 3-cone was insane.
Yeah, or like maybe it was his
Maybe it's 40.
maybe it's 10 or something.
Yeah. Either way,
He
yeah.
did something very impressive.
Yeah.
Braden
Combine.
Fisk does.
I remember the hype.
Yeah, I
fun.
agree. Kobe Turner, like whenever someone starts off that hot with like what he had like 8 sacks or something
Yeah.
around that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I need to see it a couple years
There's
before
a-
I
Dante
kinda
Fowler did
label him
too.
as that type of player.
There's a world in which you just fade both of the guys that popped for the Rams last year
Yeah,
in
I
Kobe
agree.
Turner and Byron Young, and just take Jared Verse and Braden Fisk.
I think Kobe Turner will regress. I think Byron Young is pretty okay. I don't think he will have as good of a year, but I don't think he will regress as much as Kobe will.
Yeah, and I mean Byron Young's still going to get over 70% of the snaps.
And he was the best defensive end the Rams had last year. Now he automatically, in my opinion, goes to he's the second banana behind Jared Verse. I mean, Jared Verse is going to be the problem, and then Byron Young will probably mop up some yucky sacks that the Fisk and the rest of them can't get to, I think.
But that is a fun group, and also I love like just the fact that it's a bunch of young guys. Like Aaron Donald's gone, all these guys can kind of just be like, let's just build this thing
Yep.
how
Yep.
we want to do it.
The Rams gave a lot for Fisk.
It's a pretty young defense when you really look at
Oh,
it,
yeah.
like front to back. I was just kind of doing the math. I was like, yeah, because you have Turner and Fisk inside. You have Young and Verse on the outside,
Yeah.
plus Michael
Yeah.
whipping in there as
He's
well.
going to get a lot of play this year.
And then Ernest Jones is still young.
Yeah.
You've got the safeties, Cam Curl, Quentin Lake aren't that old. So,
Kitchens,
this is a
Tre'Davious White's really old.
yeah, this is a nice little defense. I think this could be a surprisingly good defense.
I don't like just talking about my Rams, but I do have a feeling that A, this is Matt Stafford's last year, and B, they could be really good this year. Blake Corum, Kyron Williams, that wide receiver core. I really am buying a bunch of Jordan Whittington.
You should look at what their Super Bowl
Are they high?
future bet is. I
Really?
would be curious what their odds are. They'd be a fun bet to make the Super Bowl.
Robinson's a fun wide receiver 3 there.
DeMarcus, yeah. All of a sudden, his hands look better that now
I
they've got
know.
him out of Kansas City.
I know, odd. Inside,
Yeah,
that's what it was.
a lot of Davis Allen hype on Sleeper I've been seeing.
Yep.
Strange stuff.
Seattle Seahawks. Couple of notes here, I think.
I did want to say we didn't touch on Jordan Fuller. But
Yeah.
we were talking about the Rams. He's in Carolina now, but I've been hearing good stuff about him. So I think that's probably the safety you want there in Carolina.
Agree.
Just
There you
while I'm
go.
thinking of that.
I was just thinking how much talent the Panthers lost. Think about they lost Brian Burns, Frankie Louvu, Jeremy Chin.
Matos.
Yeats is gone.
Is Cam Curl the safety that you want most in primarily one linebacker sets? So, like, majority of the time, the Rams last year, and I don't know, they might change this year without Raheem, but last year it was a majority of just Ernest Jones, you know? So now, like, if they replicate that scheme again for this year, are there any other teams that you can think of that really just play that one linebacker set? Is there really a safety that you want more than maybe Cam Curl?
That's a bad question to ask
I've
Adam.
hated the Cam Curl hype too over the last couple of years. I'm sorry.
There's a lot.
You know,
I just wanted to see what did the linebackers look like behind Ernest Jones, who
It was-
What's Cameron Curl's
82%.
ADP, by the way?
He is going, I just looked it up because I knew you were going to ask. He is DB 16, safety 13, 152 overall post draft.
Whatever.
So that's like 13th round, 8th pick of the 13th round. So
man.
the linebacker behind
and Quentin Lake, give them both.
Ernest Jones, I don't count Michael Hoyt as a
No.
linebacker,
Nah.
was Christian Roseboom at 48%. So this team is going to run one linebacker.
I know that's a really hard question, but like,
They got a rose boom and they got a node boom.
Yeah, what is
Yeah.
going on with the booms?
wow.
Here comes the boom. You seen that?
You guys have got to quit yelling.
I love that. I love those dudes.
What was
The Costco boys.
Are we in TikTok land now?
What
Yeah,
was
I'm
the
into it.
Seahawks
Oh my
defense
God.
name there for a while?
Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom.
They need
There you
to-
go.
they need to steal it.
Legion.
They need to collab.
Well, speaking of which, I was trying to transition us earlier to the Seattle Seahawks. Uchenna Nwosu made a play in the backfield, one of the best defensive efforts in camp thus far. He's their best just edge rusher. I hate when they say outside linebacker in these articles.
Yeah, man.
It's like, come on, no ball. And that's an example of what he
No
brings.
ball.
He's strong enough to blow through tight ends and tackles, but he also has hip flexibility and wiggle to slip by blocks and wreak havoc.
Of the wiggle.
This is for you,
That's
Addy.
a great point, though. It's like, should we be listening to these guys
Yeah, like you.
saying OLB still?
Yeah, exactly. You're talking about outside linebacker. They're like, I love his hip flexibility and his wiggle to slip box. It's like, all right, Mr. Scout, why don't you get the position right, you dork? But this next one's for you, Addy, just for you. Devon Witherspoon is arguably the most versatile defender on the roster, and he demonstrated that last year with his ability to blitz and bounce from left cornerback to nickel all within the same drive. He is more of a corner than a safety, but between him, Jenkins, and Love, that's Rayshon Jenkins and Julian Love, Seattle's vision is for the offense to think twice about who's coming at them and from where. So,
Yeah,
with him, Spoon.
I've been on the record. I'm very excited about the new coach in town. I think he's gonna love some Witherspoon. And is he gonna ball out like he did last year?
Yes, he is.
Maybe.
This is the same coach that had
Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton.
I think that's going to be his role for Witherspoon.
Yes.
As well. But man, he was just so damn good last season.
He'll probably regress, but I still think it'll be.
He's a great player.
Exactly.
He was like 16 points per game last season, around that. He'll be in the 14 to 15. I think
because he'll have those boom weeks too.
And I think when a lot of people look at Witherspoon's ADP and they see him going, top 5, I think a lot of people won't like that. And
yeah, DB4, CB1, 94.5 overall.
And I think that and I think they're right in the fact that most cornerbacks, aren't going to repeat like that. But I do think he's different.
He's probably one of the best IDP madness picks because you've got to beat 143 other teams. DJ Keltown and I were talking about that on this week's episode about roster construction. And in madness, I think you really have to capture lightning in a bottle with some of these DBs. I mean, we saw that last year with Country Boy Swagger winning with Kyle Hamilton and Antoine Winfield Jr.
Got the two baddest boys.
So you got to do it. I don't think you can just have solid DB play. I think you've got to have a couple of absolute studs in there.
Yeah, and you guys talked about it. There's just less roster spots, so you can't solve it with volume.
Nope.
Drafting a bunch of defensive backs. You actually have to, try and get some good players, some good studs, and that's going to mean, taking them earlier than you normally do.
Yep, agreed. So, and then I think Uchenna is being slept on. I think he's discount Rashawn Gary as far as just.
It's funny. I got him in the 6th round. So I took 5'11", Rashawn Gary, 6 whatever.
02.
Yeah, 6'02".
That's a
Uchenna.
beautiful stack. Yeah, he's going
Felt a little
54.7.
bad.
Busting heads.
I'm fine.
Yeah, so 48. This is this is literally the middle of the 5th round. So you got a nice little discount on Uchenna there,
Yeah.
and then Gary's going at 39.9. So basically,
thank you guys.
Thank you all so much.
I just love that there's 2 sentences for the Cardinals here.
Right, we can just skim through this. BJ Ozolari, people, stop saying OLB. Continue to line up at outside linebacker / edge rusher with the first team defense. Darius Robinson is seeing more first team reps and really went to work versus the second team offense. This defense sucks.
But there's value
sucks.
there, I think. I think there's somebody's going to play a lot.
Well, Kaiser White, sure.
Yeah, right.
That's the
Value
guy I
in
want.
best ball.
Yes.
In your redraft leagues, Kaiser White is Buda Baker. Those are probably the only
That's it.
guys. Jalen Thompson maybe is a safety 2 or 3.
But
bye week.
edge rushers, Darius Robinson, D tackle / D end.
Yeah, it's one of those,
BJ Ojolari.
You're going to wait and see if Zaven potentially breaks out.
Yeah, Zaven.
Maybe Gardeck gives us another efficient,
It's
long-haired year.
Yeah, well, and this team, I don't know, man. The offense could be good, but that defense is. I think it is the worst defense in the league.
It's bad.
I think
very
it's
bad.
right there with the Panthers in terms of
It's very bad.
the worst in the NFL.
But some juice potentially.
You did.
And
If
also,
Dennis Gardeck was not there, if Dennis Gardeck shaved his head, you'd be like, the
they'd be in
juice is
trouble.
gone.
But they got Gardeck in there, so it makes you think.
The Barbarian.
And also, I remember last year, roasting the Rams and stuff, and saying that they were going to be one of the worst teams ever. And you just never know. You just don't.
The Rams still had Aaron Donald.
They did, but they also had a bunch of just other guys.
Yeah,
that just
bunch
ended up
of
doing well.
bunch of unknowns.
Darius Robinson could end up being a stud. We liked him quite a bit. I remember. I think it was either Daniel Jeremiah or one of them. Who's it? Dane Brugler, maybe. First off the bus is what he.
That's right. I
what he
remember that. from
labeled
the
Darius
Beast.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this team, I don't know. We'll see.
And what that means is you want to let him get off the bus first because he's the most intimidating player.
Exactly.
Sure.
You
On your
don't.
squad.
You want this dude setting the tone.
Yep.
Let's move to the AFC. Talk about the AFC North and the Cincinnati Bengals. Moments have been up and down for Dax Hill. His physicality and moving from safety shows, but he acknowledges still taking gradual steps and feeling comfortable on the outside. It will come, he says, but we're not there yet. Both Hubbard and Hendrickson were out again with the nagging issues, so no concern about a hold-in over a contract for the latter. Yeah.
I'm tired of them. I'm tired of
I'm
both
tired
of
of them.
I'm ready for Cincinnati to move on from both of these dudes. I'm serious. I'm ready for Miles. I'm ready for even the dude who had that huge mess up in the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
You just want redemption for him.
What was his name?
Oh, God. I'll think of it.
That was his moment, though, wasn't it?
That was his moment.
He popped a little bit.
He, let's see here.
Let's call Zach.
Joseph Osai.
Yeah, there we
Joseph
go.
Osai.
There you go.
Yeah, Hendrickson is edge 14 right now. He's the highest drafted player, 20.5 overall.
That's a lot, man. That is
so
high
much.
for him.
Logan Wilson is 41.8 overall. He's LB 13. And
I'm
then
fine with him.
Hubbard is 91.5 overall, going as edge 37.
No thanks.
Jermaine Pratt, LB 45, 120. So the final pick of the 10th
I'll
round.
take Pratt. And who was the other one I said I'd liked?
Logan Wilson.
Yeah, I'll take the linebackers.
Yeah, I just don't really have a whole lot of interest in the edge
Trey
rushers.
Henderson just so up and down. Like, you know, I mean, he had a monster year last year. But if you look at like the career numbers, like it's 1 year's big, 1 year's down, 1 year's big, 1 year's down.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah. So
Every other year. You want the even years?
Yep.
Yeah, so let's move to Baltimore. Some interesting headlines coming out of the Ravens camp. We talked about who was the guy for the Bears that
Austin Booker.
Austin Booker. I get these two guys confused because it's Adisa Isaac,
Completely
a third
different
round
names,
pick.
Josh.
Well, it's just A names. Throw me.
Isaac and Booker.
A third-round pick out of Penn State has still not participated in a training camp practice because of a persistent hamstring injury that started bothering him before the draft. They just don't have any luck with these freaking edge rushers, man. Odafe Owe has been one of the most impactful players early in camp. David Ojabo, second-round pick, has been fully cleared after having ACL surgery last November. It has been noticeable in recent practices. They're also using Malik Harrison on the outside. That's pretty interesting, especially when you pair it with this next bit of news here. Roquan Smith says Trenton Simpson has a chance to be special. He jumps out of the gym, 4.3 40-yard dash speed. He could do everything. With more reps and him putting it all together, I think the guy really has a chance to be special, and he has that hungry attitude, so I'm just excited to go to work with him.
Pretty good stuff.
That's pretty good, especially if they're giving Malik Harrison a little bit of run on the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it's going to be Trenton Simpson as that linebacker too there, I mean, his ADP is too low. That's someone that could, finish as a top 24 linebacker.
LB 32 right now.
Yeah.
So I think that'll probably be creeping up. It looks like he's actually slid 3 spots. So people cooled on him a little bit post-draft. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if he'll start to creep up here more in drafts as we get closer to the start of the season.
Yeah, but no, I mean, typically when I'm in drafts and I see Trenton Simpson go, it's usually in a range where I'm like, yeah, that's not bad. That's a good pick there. I like that nice upside. I mean, it has a real chance to be league winning type. I mean,
they were willing to let Patrick Queen walk for this guy.
Yeah,
They weren't letting him walk because of Malik Harrison.
and when he did get his shot at the end, I know it was like a 1-game sample size or whatever, and he played like 50% of the snaps. The dude balled out and
Playmaker.
piled up the
Yeah.
tackles.
Yep.
So I mean, if that's a sign of things to potentially come, it could be a big deal for us.
Bobo, interest in Trenton Simpson, LB 32?
Yeah, absolutely.
Any interest in these edge rushers?
What is Devin Lloyd's ADP?
I think he's in the maybe
Like teens?
Let's see. He is LB 24.
Okay.
Going at 67.4 overall.
Yeah. Give me Trenton Simpson. I think Trenton Simpson has a higher ceiling than.
Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, I don't know. I familiarize those guys because you've got 2 of the best linebackers in the league in Roquan and Foye, and then 2 guys playing alongside of them. Give me Trenton Simpson. The thing that's kind of hard for me to process is what to do with the edge rushers there, because I do think there's somebody that's going to hold some value. I want to say
Kyle Van Noy.
it is. It absolutely is. But it's like, could it be Ojabo or Owe? Owe
Always
had 5
going
sacks last year.
As edge 52,
That's pretty good,
basically
man.
like
I kind of like. I mean,
second pick of the 13th round.
hearing this news that he's looking good. I mean, that makes me kind of want to be on Owe, just because that ADP 52. I mean,
We've seen it.
that's no big deal. And the pressure rate, the PFF stuff is always really good. That's why everyone that subscribes to PFF is going to be in on Odafe Owe.
Yep.
So, I mean, all that stuff's there for him.
Yep.
Opportunity will be as great as it's ever been for him.
Because Clowney's gone now.
Yep.
I would assume it's Owe and Kyle Van Noy probably as the two starters.
Yeah, and
with
Owe,
Ojabo mixing in.
Owe, a true freak athlete. He's like a 9.9 something RAS, I think.
I'm trying to pull that up as
Who,
we
Owe?
speak.
Yeah, he's in that range.
He's 6'5", 255, and I'm pretty sure he ran a 4.39 40.
I think, he's certified freak.
Gosh,
Certified freak.
crazy.
I was just trying to find. He's 992. 992 RAS for Odafe Owe.
You want Owe or Ojabo?
Owe, for sure,
definitely
man.
Owe.
Ojabo, I'm worried about him,
I'm
dude.
not
Really?
sure he's built for the NFL.
Because
Achilles and ACL now.
yeah,
It's a bad combo.
that's tough.
It's a tough combo.
Bummer for Isaac because he's kind of a guy I was kind of keeping notes on.
Yeah, I don't like rookies being injured for training camp. It just basically sets them back like 2 months.
But at this point, I think I'm more optimistic about Isaac over Ojabo.
Really?
I think so. Again, those are just massive injuries, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Can
Years
this
to
guy
come off
actually
of.
stay on the field? We'll see.
And is he the same player?
Yeah.
An Achilles and an ACL, like that's mentally that's going to be a lot to get over. But also, those are you're not going to be the same after probably either one of those. Unless you're Adrian Peterson,
Agreed.
So
which he
He
ain't.
might be.
he ain't that.
Greatest running back of all time.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You agree with that?
No, not at all. He's good. He's very good. But
He's different.
he is. He's built
He'd
different
come back and
in
play.
many
Somebody
ways.
gave him a contract this year.
He would. He needs money. He has
Yeah.
got a lot of child support to pay.
Sure.
So
Not a great dad either.
No, very bad dad. Cleveland Browns, JOK,
Bad
Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa really grew as a player last year. I saw today on Twitter where they're apparently working on a contract extension for JOK, which I thought
I saw
was
that.
kind of surprising. And the most telling
Nice
part
trade window.
is how his snap counts and responsibilities increased as the year went on. He will need to take another step this year and not come off the field to get the contract he wants, and it's something I think he will do. So, yeah, I'll be curious to see how this linebacking group shakes out. I think it'll probably be Jordan Hicks as the mainstay, and then JOK will be 70 to 80% of snaps, maybe more.
Yeah, I feel like more. I think he earned their trust last season, and had performed really well in the playoffs. But yeah, I expect Hicks to be the green dot. I think that's kind of all the news out of camp right now. I want Hicks. Hicks has gotten up there in ADP. I'm starting to take him like in the 6th round in these IDP only best balls.
Yeah, he's moved up 20 spots. He's going as LB 39 right now. So he's going 77.5 overall, whereas JOK is 54.6.
Yeah, I remember the days he was like there in the 10th, 11th round.
Oh, just
a
crazy late.
smash.
So let's go Pittsburgh Steelers. Patrick Queen. Is this Jalen Warren? Is that the running back there? Got the best of Patrick Queen a couple times. One drill, but it appears that if
Catherine
there's
Warren.
if there's yes, thank you for that PG reference there, Addy. If there's one weakness in Queen's game, it is potting with these two idiots and blitzing and powering through a blocker. Rookie linebacker Peyton Wilson looked the best out of all the defenders. He faced Warren. Is Warren like just the guy that they're running out there? Is Catherine just eating up this Pittsburgh defense? He faced Warren. It's like there's a robot out there that's lighting up these defenders multiple times, winning some and losing some. The final 2 reps were heated. First, Wilson used a spin move to win, and then Warren took on a charging Wilson, absorbed the hit, and drove the rookie into the ground. Bobo, this one's for you if you can recover in time to come back into frame. Nick Herbig has yet to prove he can handle a larger workload. He played 191 defensive snaps last year, while Watt and Highsmith each topped 900. Marcus Golden had 230. He will get his chance to shine in camp and the preseason, with Watt likely backing off some of his reps.
Him big.
Him big.
Saw him working with James Harrison,
Pretty good stuff right there.
who's a certified insane person.
Yeah, him big could be an absolute monster. It's going to take an injury, I think, to Watt or Highsmith. But, I do expect the snaps to definitely be a lot healthier.
He should be above Marcus Golden, right?
Yeah, he'll be in like the 400, 600 range, I'd say.
It was so good last year to where if it's similar this year production-wise, Tomlin's not going to be able to keep that guy off of the field.
Right.
They're going to have to scheme some different ways where it's like, look, can we get all 3 of these guys out here?
Yeah.
Maybe not all the time, but Herbig's going to have some snap increase. He's too good.
Yeah, I think he should at least swap with Golden Colton had 230 snaps. I mean,
Oh,
that
he
should
easily
be-
will.
Yeah.
I mean, think about Bryce Huff last season. Like he can get that type of role, and Bryce Huff put up 10 sacks. You know,
I think the piece of news that jumps out to me the most, though, is Peyton Wilson.
yeah, man.
Looked the best of all the defenders.
Yeah, and then I also saw where he's showing up early, getting in reps.
Jim Rat, lunch pail, first in, last out
You
kind of
love to
guy.
see it.
You love to see it.
This is almost an offensive piece of news to where it's like, is Jalen Warren going to get play over Najee?
Hey, he's getting drafted like that, I think.
Is he really?
He's getting, his ADP's up there. Hop in the combined best balls with us, folks.
Yes,
Lot of
we're
fun.
running those right now. Follow-
ADP's
I
out
need to
there
get- I
now.
need to get
Yes,
one.
the combined ADP is on the website. Follow Professor IDP on Twitter. He is dropping those draft links whenever they go live. So check it out. It's a lot of fun if you want to jump in there. Let's go AFC East, New England Patriots. You mentioned Matthew Judon. 6 days after he said he planned on playing out the final year of his contract. Even though he's not happy with the terms, he skipped practice Tuesday, launching an apparent hold-in. Judon kicked off a drama-filled practice by showing up to practice without pads and engaging in a long conversation with Gerard Mayo and top executive Elliott Wolf. He returned to practice the next day. This sucks, boys. Christian Barmore out indefinitely due to blood clots. That is very, very scary. We wish a speedy recovery to Christian Barmore. No timetable for his return. Through a week of camp, Keon White looks plenty poised to step up with the aforementioned absences. He has lined up at a few spots across the front of the line and is strong enough to get a push from the interior and quick enough to rush from the edge. The future seems bright for the last season's second-round pick. Addie and I were talking last week, maybe the week before, that this New England defense is not sexy by any means, but they're going to be really solid.
It'd be a top 5 defense in the NFL. I think the last little bit right there of Keon White, I think that there's a lot of...
That's intriguing.
Absolutely. I don't know what his ADP is in the best balls, but in the dinos, Keon White's a guy that I'm probably trying to acquire a little bit right now because he's free 99.
He is DL 118, edge 87.
Free 99 and also freak athlete, 9.92 RAS, 6'4.5", 285.
Golly.
Yeah, 34-inch vert, 4.79 40. So yeah, I mean they're gonna probably need him, and I think they took him in the second round.
Yes, they did.
Who's the other D
Last year's
tackle they
second-round
had?
pick.
Devon Godshaw.
Godshaw just got a new contract.
That's right.
So I think Judon will get paid. He'll be back. They don't want this guy.
But yeah,
going
that defense
anywhere.
will be very, very good, and no one's gonna know any of the guys on the roster.
Nope. It's
I'm
like,
kinda-
who is this takey and this Tavi guy?
I'm in on Tavai.
Yeah.
I think Tavai could have a nice little LB3 year-ish.
Yep. 100 tackles last season. I think we talked about him on one of the last episodes, but top 10 PFF grade among linebackers.
Crazy.
I
That's
thought-
crazy.
I think I talked about him in our first season
You
as a
certainly did. You
podcast.
were a big Tavai guy.
He was a Lion.
Tavai guy.
Yep.
University of Hawaii.
Yep.
Honestly, I think that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Sounds
makes sense.
That tracks.
Tavai.
Buffalo Bills. I'm going to get you guys off this conversation before you get us in trouble. Buffalo Bills. Cole Bishop, 2024 second-round pick in his rookie season, left in the middle of Tuesday's practice with an apparent injury, did not return. He's now considered week to week with a shoulder injury. That sucks, Addy.
Damn it.
Team signed 36-year-old safety Kareem Jackson, the immortal one, though he only participated in individual drills for the first practice and likely isn't going to be a big factor in the starting discussion anytime soon. Gregory Rousseau.
He's already suspended the first
Yes,
4 weeks.
exactly. He's already been suspended and been cut. Gregory Rousseau is consistently winning his battles to get into the backfield, coming up with run stuffs at the line, pressures of Josh Allen, and batted passes at the line to force incompletions. Still only 24 years old, Rousseau is showing early signs of real growth. Once again, the ceiling for the team's top pass rusher remains quite high. They're going to need Gregory Rousseau to wreak some havoc.
Did you call him
because-
Greggy?
I said Gregory Rousseau.
I like
to
Greggy.
Gregory Rousseau to wreak some havoc because this defense is not.
Gregory.
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 you too.
Oh, man.
I'm about to suspend both of you
We
with
found
Kareem
it.
Jackson.
We found it.
You can go to the bench with Catherine Warren. So, yeah, I think Cole Bishop, you hate to see it. He should be back, though. And I don't know that it's him and Taylor Rapp, and
Yeah, he'll be all right.
I think he'll be. It worries me when these guys get injured or miss for whatever reason. Like Cooper DeJean, we didn't talk much about that, but that's a crowded Philadelphia Eagles secondary. So
Yeah, they just brought in a 36-year-old Kareem Jackson.
Exactly.
Like,
I don't think they're too worried about Cole Bishop.
and even if he's not going to be much for us year one, I mean, was anyone really expecting? I have not taken Cole Bishop at all in any of the best balls, which is redraft focused.
Yes.
So I mean, I don't know why anyone would expect him to come out and really be much immediately. So
No.
Taylor Rapp, I'm excited about Taylor Rapp.
I'm fading all rookies pretty much.
Yeah, same. I
best ball.
don't draft any of these rookies.
That's funny. I just thought about, like, what if all of a sudden at the end of the year we're like, hey, actually, we lied. These seasons run for 10 years. So I hope y'all got
This
some
is a
young
dynasty
guys.
thing.
Yeah. Psych.
Yeah, you're locked in here.
They're automatically
hate
going
to
to
see
have withdrawn.
And also, I need to revise that. I have been drafting a lot of lot 2 and verse. I feel confident about them. Like, I love their ADPs. They're going in like the seventh to 10th round, which I think is just. I think both those guys are going to get over 10 sacks.
Yeah,
this season.
he is edge 33. Dallas Turner is 73.7. So that's like 6th round is 72 picks. So he's like the first pick of the 7th round.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
And then Latu is 83.8 overall. So basically end of the 7th round. So you're getting both those guys in the 7th.
And like, would you be surprised if either one of those rookies like outproduced Kayvon
No, especially
or
now.
Brian Burns? Like both. I mean,
both of them could. Yeah, absolutely. Especially now we're going to talk about the Indy news here in just a little bit. But the pressure is dialed up on Latu especially.
yes.
And I think the path is clear for him to get as many snaps as he wants.
Yeah. So I like those ADPs. I think
Yeah.
they're fine.
Did you see the Milano video at camp? He's got a leg sleeve on and goes back in coverage, then kind of comes back up towards the line. And the beat reporter was like, Milano looking like he, never left the field. And somebody else like slowed it down and was like, you sure? Like goes to backpedal and like tries to put pressure on his leg and his head like slings backwards. Like you can tell his messed up leg is still
Little
a
messed up.
whole lot weaker than his
Yeah.
good leg.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
There's
I
a
think-
lot of just sort of you got to read between the lines with a lot of stuff in training camp, and I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of coaches figuring out how can I like not lie but not
Yeah.
tell the whole truth
Yeah.
here, right? Like Milano's looking good. Well, compared to what?
Yeah.
Compared to where he was when he had that
Yeah.
massive injury last
Compared to
season.
your 5th linebacker.
Yeah, exactly. What's the measuring stick here?
That's what Brett Coleman tweeted before this game. Like, if you're not ready to watch 7th round linebackers compete for a roster job, you're not an American.
It's true.
It's true.
Got to
Love
turn it on.
man. Preseason.
Miami Dolphins, Shaq Barrett announced his retirement after a 10-year career. Happy trails to Shaq Barrett. Opens up a lot of opportunity, though, for Chop Robinson, their rookie first-round pick. He's ready to be a day one starter and star, but based on his early showing in camp, that seems to be a far-fetched dream. God, this beat reporter chose violence this morning. While Robinson's first step is a game changer and gives Miami's offensive linemen troubles regularly, he's easily blocked, and not just by offensive linemen. Okay. Calais Campbell and Quentin Bell have done a phenomenal job setting their edge. Every run that comes their direction is choked out. It's clear that Bell is competing, if not the front runner, for a starting edge role, while Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips are sidelined. Cater Kohu, the front runner for the starting nickel role. Nick Needham as his only competition. Linebacker David Long was not happy with his limited workload Sunday, his first day on the field after starting training camp on the PUP list. I was eager to get back out there. I did like 3 plays Sunday, so I was pissed. I was trying to get any kind of work I could. I'm Mike, Long said. It's funny because his name is David. Having the play calls, different assignments than last year, but it's something I've been doing since I've been in the league. It feels good to be back doing that same thing. The hell is going on in Miami? They sounds like they got children blocking Chop Robinson, and Calais Campbell and Quentin Bell. Man, this team could be bad, y'all. I'm just telling you right now.
That's worrisome for Chop Robinson.
Because the insinuation is like running backs or tight ends are blocking this guy.
I mean, and that was kind of the concern with him, is that yes, he's fast, but is he going to be able to move around some of these offensive linemen? I don't know. That's a little red flag for me. A little early red flag.
Yeah, I mean, the metric stuff is good with Chop, but the production was never there. So yeah, he was never a guy that I was super high on. I definitely had the other 3 ahead of him. But I mean, opportunities there. I mean, this doesn't mean anything. We who knows what this dude is? Who knows? Who this guy is?
Who really knows?
He's Mike.
Who's amongst us? David thinks his name is Mike.
He's young. He was one of the youngest edge prospects. I mean, yeah, he's gonna take some time. I mean, he is 21.
And guys, there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Like, who is there now with Shaq Barrett gone?
I mean, I would expect him to struggle to start. I mean, he's going up against, grown-ass men. This is the NFL. I mean, but he's got the makings to be something, I think, at some point.
Good Rass.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think he was the best athlete out of all these guys.
So right now, if Phillips and Chubb don't start the season, it's Chop Robinson and Emmanuel Ogbah. With Mo Camara and Cameron Goods on pup, Ezekiel Vandenberg.
Man, and
Who's the
Ogbah
next
didn't
guy?
play much last year.
No.
Seems
9.72 Rass for Chop.
Yep.
I think Chop will be fine. Let's go to the New York Jets. Hassan Reddick, you mentioned him, Maddie. He has skipped 6 days of training camp and counting reporting day last week, and thus far has been subjected to $300,000 worth of fines, which you cannot forgive now under the new CBA. That's in addition to the $250,000 workout bonus he forfeited in the spring, and that's $100,000 he was fined for skipping mandatory minicamp. So he's at like $650K right now. There is an added wrinkle now that he's missed 6 days of camp. Per the CBA, the Jets have the option of fining Reddick an additional 15% of his prorated signing bonus, which equals another $300K. This has gotten ugly quick with Hassan Reddick and the New York Jets. Defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw has been a standout during training camp, including a would-be sack against Rodgers on Monday. The free agent signee said he had set out to gain 35 pounds in lean muscle mass this offseason. He achieved that goal, jumping from 305 to 330. So, there you go.
Yeah.
The Reddick situation feels a little tense. The Judon one I feel like is going to get resolved. But it feels like it's been bad blood between Reddick and the Jets just right out the gate.
Yeah, it's just a really weird situation, I mean, with Judon, he played there for a while. They traded for this guy, Hassan Reddick, and then he's yet to show up.
He's been in Japan.
Yeah, so I mean that's tough. That's not a great message, to send to the team.
He's literally not even in the country.
Yeah. Yeah,
Reddick's
he's
cosplaying as like a samurai.
Still doing that?
Maybe. I mean, who the hell knows at this point?
Cool.
Do we know where Hassan Reddick is?
You never know with these guys, and the concussion stuff. You never know where their head's at.
They could be like a Derek Barnes in a total head case that we don't know about. Yeah, I don't know. This team that you got Garrett Wilson apparently arguing with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And
That team could be bad, right?
that team could absolutely be bad.
With a healthy Aaron Rodgers, they
Yes,
could be bad.
I have said this for more than once on this show. Like, are we sure it's just copy and paste the Jets from 2023 and what we expected with this team? And Aaron Rodgers at 40 years old coming off a shredded Achilles?
Green Bay is a good organization for a reason.
Yep. So, and the Jets are not for a reason. AFC South, Tennessee Titans, Arden Key, 6-game suspension for violating the performance-enhancing drug policy. So
Missed that.
that's not good. So far in camp, Kenneth Murray has turned plenty of heads with his physical style of play and athletic skills. It's a good sign for the former first-round pick. Seems to be a solid fit in Denard Wilson wants to do defensively. Alongside him, everyone was wanting the Titans to try and upgrade over Jack Gibbons, but he looks much improved. Just absolutely throwing Gibbons under the bus. Fourth-round pick Cedric Gray has been invisible thus far.
I don't care for this guy.
So,
Or girl.
yeah, this beat reporter also chose violence. Kenneth Murray sounds like is going to be the LB1 there, and it's going to be Jack Gibbons. Sorry to all the Cedric Graybeards out there.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we thought it was,
Yep.
when they gave him that deal at the start of free agency. But you know how it goes. Off-season's long. You start to think that, maybe Gibbons is actually the guy. There's some hype about him. But I think Gibbons is a guy that's going to be playing between 60 and 80% of snaps. And that's fine.
It's going to be what we saw last year.
Yeah, same stuff.
Kenneth Murray's in the Azeez Al-Shaair role. Jack Gibbons is a great handcuff.
Yep.
But let's not get too excited here. I just love that they're like, they desperately wanted to upgrade over Jack Gibbons. Jackson's like, damn, dog. Like, what did I do? Like, I was fine last year. Throwing absolute shade. Well, let's get to the Colts because I am excited to talk about Laiatu Latu. Unfortunately, this news comes with a little bit of a caveat that Samson Ebukam suffered a season-ending Achilles injury. So Laiatu Latu, we mentioned it, going to get as much run as he wants. He was in his element, reading, reacting, and ripping through offensive linemen who stood in his way. You watch all of it sounds like he's just like action movie, like tearing these people in half. You watch all of these edge rushers in the draft, and they're all talented, but his motor he had after plays, you could see it. Shane Steichen said, even if he gets around the edge and the quarterback steps up, boom, he is turning and running and trying to go get him. That's what really stood out to me was his relentless effort. And this is the position I've talked about just from a team standpoint that is a total black hole for the Colts right now. There are more questions than answers when it comes to who will be starting at free safety. DC Gus Bradley on the starting spot. We've still got some work to do there as far as our evaluation, but it's going in the right direction. Nick Cross and Ronnie Harrison Jr. have been rotating as starters. Rodney Thomas II appears to be the third stringer. Just go call Justin Simmons, Chris.
Damn,
Make it happen.
That's tough. Rodney Thomas used to have that captain patch too. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's not as much into that, you know.
Don't you lose that faith. Don't you lose that sparkle in your eye.
I'm still going to keep track of it.
As you should.
I wanted to have a little discussion, like Latu or.
Okay, let's do it.
Latu or, and this is for 2024.
Just for 2024, okay.
Latu or Josh Sweat.
Latu.
Latu or Greg Rousseau.
Latu.
Latu, just because I think he's going to play more than Greg.
Latu Boye Mafe.
Latu.
Trayvon Walker.
Latu.
Probably Latu, yeah.
Latu Bryce Huff.
That's a good one. I think we're getting into that range now where you could really make a case. But I'll still go Latu.
Me
So too, man. Karlaftis or Latu.
Boy.
I think I'm still going Latu, I think.
I want to say Latu, but Karlaftis was pretty good last year. Played quite a bit. But I'll still go Latu. I just think Latu could get 80% of the snaps.
And I'm not
or
like,
more.
and I don't know like Karlaftis has the highest ceiling.
Yeah.
I feel like Latu is a guy that can get like 15 sacks in a season. I don't know that. I don't think Karlaftis is ever going to. I think
he's going to be
his
that
max like a 10 sack season, right?
I think so.
All right. What about Rashawn Gary or Latu?
Boy, if Rashawn Gary is fully healthy, I'll take Rashawn Gary. Babo?
I want Latu.
Joey Bosa.
Latu.
I know Joey Bosa is not going to stay fully healthy, so give me Laiatu Latu.
All right. So now we're gonna. I mean, this dude is gonna be high as hell once I readjust these ranks. Alex Highsmith or Latu.
Latu.
Kayvon or Latu.
Boy.
Latu.
Judon or Latu.
Latu.
Grenard or Latu.
Oh my gosh, this is a fascinating exercise.
Latu.
Probably Grenard for me. Just because
Trey Hendrickson or Latu.
Latu.
probably Latu.
Damn, son. Latu's like a first or second round pick then, based on how we're talking here.
I just think this news uncaps the ceiling.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I think he was looking at a situation where he was the edge 2 opposite Ebukam. Now, from what Ballard has said, Shane Steichen has said, this is going to be the edge 1 far and away with Pay and Odengbo as second and third.
Will Anderson, Latu?
Will
Is
Anderson.
this in conversation?
No, I don't think so. Not yet. Just because there's
But
still
it
some
could
unknown.
be after 2 weeks.
It could be.
You know?
It could be. And I would love, it needs to be. I mean, it's got to be because of this Ebukam injury. But I'll still take Will Anderson.
But I think that's kind of like where they're thinkers. Like, you know, that's Brian Burns, Latu. That's close, I think.
Still take Burns, probably.
Yeah, just based on like what you've seen so far.
Yeah.
But not going to be surprised if Latu outproduces him.
Nope.
At all.
Latu has top 5, top 6 in his range of outcomes now with this Ebukam injury.
Yeah, I agree.
I wish Jalen hadn't gotten hurt because I feel like that's kind of the range to me for Latu.
Yeah.
You know,
similar players.
Similar players, similar comp. Man, that's crazy. I didn't realize
Yeah,
I
he's
liked
there,
Latu
man.
that much.
He's arrived.
Yeah.
He's already arrived.
Just took one injury.
Yeah, it's all it took. Sorry, Samson, you were the sacrificial lamb.
I do like Quiddy Pay a little bit this year. I kind of
mean,
still
he's-
holding out hope.
I thought he was going to be rotating in, but now he'll be the edge too, with Odengbo as the 3.
Yeah.
So
And who knows? I mean, he's got great surrounding. So,
he needs to ball out. It's a contract year for Quiddy. So
Yeah, should be motivated to do it.
yep. Let's talk Houston Texans. Defensive end Danico Autry suspended for 6 games as well.
Cool.
Violating the NFL drug policy against performance-enhancing drugs. They released their unofficial depth chart ahead of the Hall of Fame game. 3 linebackers as starters: Azeez Al-Shaair, Christian Harris, and Henry To'o. However, how much Houston actually deploys all 3 at the same time throughout the season remains to be seen. It's going to be Al-Shaair and Christian Harris with To'o as the backup. This opens up now a little bit of opportunity there opposite. You've got Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter. With Danico Autry was at least an intriguing piece, so maybe there's a Danico Autry replacement that's intriguing. Let's see what Ourlads looks like to see who even is there with him out. I don't know that I even know who would be the guy past him. Got to go PP Eddie. Daniil Hunter and let's see. Yeah, Will Anderson, Derek Barnett. So there you go, Bobo. Derek Barnett. Jerry Hughes is still there.
Okay.
So maybe we want some Derek Barnett, Jerry Hughes.
No more Tillery.
Let's see.
I guess he's gone.
Yeah, maybe do a little Control F here. Tillery is not there any longer.
I thought he was last year.
So, who of the Houston linebackers do you want? Do you want Al-Shaair or do you want Christian Harris?
Al-Shaair is going to have a better year.
Let me give you the prices. Azeez is LB 15, 36.6 overall, so basically end of the third.
Yeah.
Whereas Christian Harris is LB 27, 86th overall.
Al-Shaair, because I feel like the production's going to match the end of the third versus Christian Harris at the end of the 6th. I just think Al-Shaair is going to have that much better of a year than Christian Harris, in my opinion.
Okay. So there you go. Let's move to let's get Addie's take here before we
Well, we're finished. We
sign
knocked
off.
them all out, Adam.
It's done. We're all
Feeling
done. That was a
good
very
now.
long PP.
Good. A lot in there.
There's actually some decent edge rushing depth. Very big bladder. In Houston, Derek Barnett, Jerry Hughes.
Ooh,
still
baby.
there. So that's,
Derek Barnett, I like that a lot. He was really, really good last season. I was hoping he was going to go somewhere else because, once he finally got an opportunity, they played him a ton last season. Like, if you look at the snap share, he was at 70 to 80% in the snap share. So,
if either of those guys goes down,
yeah, Derek Barnett's
on the
going to be
edge.
really nice, but to start the season, I think.
And
And
Jerry-
if he could hold on to that role if he does well,
yeah, and Jerry Hughes is just
he still produces.
timeless classic. So,
Good
Who
pressure
finishes
rate.
higher this year, Will Anderson or Aiden Hutchinson?
ooh, that's a very good question.
Aiden,
I'd say Aiden. Yeah, I'm very bullish on Aiden Hutchinson.
You bullish on Will at all, or not
Oh
really?
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see what it looks like opposite of Daniil Hunter now.
Got my first share.
Did
And then
you?
the best balls, yeah. Out of the
Wow.
15 I've done, got him at 111.
I got him at the 102 in a best ball, and Josh made fun of me. I said, let's do something different.
Let's
Shot.
yeah, shoot it into the trash can, Kobe style. Jacksonville Jaguars. You mentioned Trayvon Walker. He's been hot so far. Tipped a pass from Lawrence to running back Travis Etienne. Knocked down another on a throw by Jones, and probably should have been credited with sacking Lawrence on the quarterback's deep ball connection with Kirk on Friday. He played a big part in Jacksonville's successful run defense over the first 2 days of Camp 2 with some physical rushes off the edge that impeded the running back's lane. Devin Lloyd has been hit or miss in coverage throughout camp, but had a fantastic showing against the pass Monday. He ripped the ball out of tight end Britton Strange's hands in 7-on-7, forcing either an incomplete pass or a fumble, as it was unclear whether Strange ever had possession. He lit up Evan Ingram as he attempted to make a sideline grab, knocking the pass from Lawrence loose. So
Good stuff. And then they switched positions, right? He's going to be wearing the dot. Is that what I've heard?
ooh, is that true?
Or maybe he's playing Foyer's old position. I think they've done some switching
Yeah,
around
something
there.
Done a little bit of switchy
something's happened
switch.
I think I remember seeing something like that. So, maybe that means more production for Foyer or for Devin Lloyd. And
Boy's going to get 250 tackles.
Foyer's
this
gonna
season.
do
150% of snaps.
Yeah, this is just what he wanted.
Devin Lloyd, from a career perspective, is entering that Pat Queen, Jordan Brooks type of thing, to where it's like we need to start thinking about life after the Jaguars. You're getting into that dynasty category to where it's like the trajectory's a little bit on the way up there for Devin Lloyd here the last year or two. There's a chance to where if the Jags don't keep him, he could go and sign a nice little deal to maybe have a Bobby Okereke type role on his own. I think something that is going to just inundate Good Morning Football and Twitter and basically, NFL media this year is going to be just this Trayvon Walker talk of Josh Allen's been paid. Now Trayvon Walker, the number 1 overall pick. Yep. This is his 3rd season. Will he take a step? Are they going to end up paying him? I think you're going to hear a whole lot more about Trayvon Walker than we really probably want to hear, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Mike is starting to put together his preseason edition of the 3-down linebackers for every team, and he still has Foye with the dot. So we'll see if that changes.
But you're right. I've seen that too. Where
something's different.
Yeah.
I saw. Yeah. So
I know it's been harder for Mike to spot the dot because of the Guardian caps, which it sounds like they're wanting to make just part of the NFL uniform now, which would be not a great look. You know? Yeah. I know they're sleeker now. They're not these big, giant, goofy-looking, kind of old-school leather helmet-looking thing.
I think the Green Dot should just wear a green uniform.
They said, what was it? I think Denard Wilson said Kenneth Murray has a green light. It's like, I don't know if that's like he's glowing green or if he has the green light to go.
There's a show there, Spot the Dot.
Spot the Dot. Be fun. We could launch another show.
We do that.
AFC West, last division here, Las Vegas Raiders. Quite a day for
just Mike on the couch. It's the Leo
DiCaprio meme. There it is. It's a quiet day for defensive end Tyree Wilson. He rotated in with the starters behind Crosby and Kuntz, but didn't make much of an impact. He still looks slow getting off the ball and hasn't been able to consistently shed blockers.
Well,
because he's so yoked now.
Right now.
It will be interesting to see what they do with Kuntz if he continues to ascend as an edge rusher. The defensive line is expected to be the heart of the football team. God, I hope so. He will play an integral role and could lead to a big payday for him. So,
yeah, seems like arrow up for Kuntz based on that Tyree Wilson news.
So.
I mean, if we see Kuntz get like a 70% snap share, which I'm kind of thinking we might.
What was he last year?
But towards the end of the year, he was in that range.
That's what I always like to look at. It's like beginning of the year doesn't matter as much to me as like give me the back half.
Yeah.
Like what does the split look like?
He was in that range, and this will be a contract year for him. So
let's take a look.
I think he's going to have every opportunity, and I'm thrilled to get that dude in the 9th or 10th round.
So overall, he was at 44.13 on the season, but down the stretch of last year, he was pretty up and down still. After it looks like week 13, though, it was 61%, 51%, 65, 59, 72. So it did tick up because beginning of the year was 26, 34, 35, 37, 29, 34. So
yeah, that's fine. We can handle
he
that.
If we could get 65 to 70% of snaps from Malcolm Kuntz, that would be beautiful. That's a really nice value, especially as you look at obviously Max is going like 1 or 2. And Kuntz is edge 39 going at 101 overall.
I'm interested to see Christian Wilkins now in that role. Is it the same old Christian Wilkins, or is it going to be a little different?
Be curious.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and Wilkins was interesting last year because last year was like a big sack year for him, right? He typically hadn't
bigger
been
than normal.
Yeah, he typically hadn't been that type of player. Typically was just like a tackle type guy. But I think the tackles were down and the sacks were up last year.
I think you're right, because Sealer was there and helping out.
Yeah. So he's someone that I'm definitely watching. He's getting his ADP is not terrible. He's like in the 5th or 6th round typically in these IDP only. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see where he's going right now. He is 39.7. He's actually risen. D tackle 5. So he's like the 3rd pick of the 4th round.
That's a little high for me.
Little rich. Kansas City Chiefs, Bobo.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Nick Bolton. Left Wednesday's practice, elbow injury. Fortunately, Sports Illustrated Matt Vandermeer said that Chiefs LB star is expected to be fine. If Bolton missed time, Leo Chenal and Drew Tranquil would benefit the most for fantasy.
Really? Sports Illustrated's Matt Vandermeer? said that?
I think probably that was an R note.
IDP player?
It would be great if he was. Maybe he could identify edge rusher versus outside linebacker. And Adike Uzama displayed more polished pass rushing techniques, especially with his hands to overwhelm Morris in consecutive repetitions.
Yeah.
The biggest notable difference for FAU from his rookie season, Reed said, is his enhanced quickness once the ball is snapped. He's more comfortable with that, getting himself upfield and moving, Reed said. I think he's more confident in what we're doing and what he's doing. FAU is expected to get plenty of snaps early this season, while Emenahue, a 6-year veteran, continues to recover from a torn right ACL he sustained in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, FAU's kind of intriguing. Just a dart throw, maybe just see if he works out because he's going to have opportunity. Nick Bolton, the elbow that he hurt was actually, or wrist, I can't remember exactly what he hurt this year, but it's the same thing that he had operated on last year.
This was an elbow injury.
Well, same arm. I don't know. The way I read it was real similar type of thing to what he was dealing with last year. Either way, I don't like to hear it. I mean, I'm
brittle elbow.
I'm thankful. I know. I'm thankful that he's okay, but it's not great.
I agree, man. I mean,
This was the first big IDP.
He had a fractured wrist that he had operated on.
Okay.
So
all right.
You're still having some weirdness in with your wrist, elbow. I mean, that's not good. If you're tweaking it now, it ain't gonna get any better.
It's like a knee, kind of.
Yeah.
Did I see where he got it caught between a couple players? Is what it was.
Yeah,
like
I
it
think
just
so.
kind of like got popped between a couple dudes.
He
I think
just
so.
got hit in the funny bone.
I just don't like it. I mean, it's just because of where the ADP is, and we've talked about it a ton. But I mean, the fact that the guy's getting drafted as a top 10 linebacker, it makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, I'll be 6.
But this should have been a warning to you. Like this was your warning, guys.
This is your warning.
Stop drafting this guy so high.
Stop doing it.
So y'all are both out on him in best balls, but also in the dynasty too.
No,
not in dynasty. I'm more interested in dynasty.
Yeah,
than
I think
for
I have him
2024.
ranked top 10 in dynasty.
I think-
But also a lot of that is because I know everyone's crazy about him too.
Yeah.
Why has the market not cooled? That's what I can't figure out.
Yeah.
Why is he still getting the benefit of the doubt, especially with 2 very capable linebackers behind him?
2022, man, that people can't forget.
I guess.
But Leo Chenal, I mean,
Speak
go
on
get
it,
him.
Eddie.
Go get him.
Yeah.
Go get him. I mean, there's the upside with him is out of this world.
As
I mean,
soon as I saw the Bolton news, I went straight to the waiver wire. I was like, I've got to get him.
same.
I've got to get him.
Same. I'd certainly checked all
Yep.
the leagues for Leo Chenal.
Yep. He's going to play more than you think he's going to this year. And I know we've talked about him in the light of, get him now for when he leaves. But, what if all of a sudden Bolton gets hurt and Chenal starts playing 70%
Tranquil's
snaps?
gotten hurt plenty, too, in his
Absolutely.
career. I
Yep.
mean, there is...
I thought the same thing this week, or today, I think, honestly, about Tranquil. I was thinking in my head, I was like, Tranquil's been hurt a lot, too, in his career.
Yep. Yeah, man, I mean, the path is there. Neither one of those linebackers are guys that have stayed healthy their entire career. So, and Chenal, we've seen the snap share has increased every single year, along with the production. The PFF grades are great for Chenal.
I hate y'all. I hate y'all so much. I'm probably trading Bolton in Dynasty.
I mean, if you can still probably get a good haul for him, right?
But the thing that got me was a couple weeks ago when you read his freaking RAS, and it's like 4.3.
The RAS, but then also the declining PFF grades,
Yeah.
and then just the declining production.
And the big plays are not really there, you know?
But what's not declining is the ADP.
Yeah.
And so because of that, it's like, man, let's just go ahead and cash out.
Yeah.
Let's just not worry
Get
about
something. Get something.
Let's go get Leo Chenal.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Let's
you get Chenal plus?
What?
You have the
you
trade
can go
value.
pick up Chenal off the waivers.
Yeah.
You
he's
have
free
Chenal or Nick Bolton's trade value as a second. Think you can get a second for him still?
At least.
Yep.
At
Think
least.
so?
I think so. I think there. I mean, yeah. I mean, he's going.
Now's a good time to trade for draft picks because
Who's a-
everybody's thinking about the season.
Who's a player you think you could trade Bolton for?
Like offensively,
Offense or defense?
I think you could get.
man, you get a lot for Bolton. I think IDP wise, could you get
Could you get a nice young edge rusher?
Could you get Will Anderson potentially?
Probably not.
Could
right?
you get Bolton plus? Could you do Bolton plus
Will Anderson.
a second?
Bolton plus a second might get it done.
I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Oh, absolutely. If I wanted, if I was trying to acquire Anderson.
Right, today's probably not the time to do it because if you play IDP, some people probably know that Bolton's been a little bit banged up, but let him come back and look good.
Yes.
And then maybe send that stuff off.
Yes, exactly. Let him.
Don't do it now.
Let the training camp video pop where he has a great one-handed
Yes.
interception or
Yes.
makes a tackle in
Just
the
that
backfield.
he's healthy. Just
Yeah.
that he's healthy, and he plays 100% of the snaps week 1.
Throw that into your league chat. Just let it simmer for a little bit, then start sending out the trade offers.
Gosh,
Yeah.
y'all are so annoying. I don't like either of y'all.
Yeah, that's something we
I
struggle
haven't
with.
for
as
I don't
some
well.
love
time
myself
now.
either.
Yeah, we
so.
hate ourselves. Los Angeles Chargers linebacker Deion Henley, who has been working with the first team next to Denzel Perryman, also got involved in coverage. In an 11-on-11 period, Henley was in perfect position for the interception, but the ball deflected off his hand. Deion's got some really elite coverage skills, DC Jesse Minter said.
Good
Deion
stuff.
season?
We like elite coverage skills.
Yes.
So
And he was a former wide receiver.
yeah,
So he should be able to, hopefully in the future, make the catch if he's in perfect position.
yeah. We talked about it earlier this offseason. Like how cool would it be if it's Deion Henley and then Junior Colson?
That would be fun.
And they just get Harbaugh's got himself a couple linebackers that he can just have for the next 2-3 years. Be sweet. That's the world that I want to live in.
I want to live in that world.
Yeah.
I still want to be excited about Deion. It just feels like, the moves this offseason suggested they wanted to move away from him by bringing in Perryman and drafting Junior Colson as high as they did. But Junior Colson's out, appendectomy. So it opens up the door for Deion Henley. And
Yeah, as the offseason's worn on, I've gotten a lot more excited about Henley. Just because, I mean, I think you look at the moves, and yeah, it is. You don't ever want more competition in there, for your guys. But it's Denzel Perryman, who's 30 now, who's battled injuries forever.
Yeah.
And then also it's like we like Junior Colson. We love the fact that he has familiarity with Harbaugh and all that stuff in the DC. But he was drafted in the 3rd round. Like it's not like this guy was like a 1st-round pick. Like the tons of other teams passed over him as well. So. Yeah, Henley, we were excited about this dude. We like this dude for a reason. Like, it could still work out for him.
the market has no idea what to do with
Yeah.
these linebackers. It is literally Denzel Perryman at 59, Deion Henley at 58, and Junior Colson at 42.
Yeah, man.
So
I
it's
want
like
Henley.
I think so, too.
I think I'll take Perryman just because I think he's going to. I don't
Be one of the two, right?
Yes,
That's the
I think
edge.
he is for sure one of the two guys. Like, what if Colson comes back in mid-August and looks great, and we're hearing the Colson buzz? I still think it's going to be Perryman as the LB1. Now, I'm not saying I want now for like best ball, like end of the season. I don't know that I'm wanting Denzel Perryman because he doesn't seem like he's going to make it through a full season at this point in his career, given the injury track record and the age.
Yeah.
So Colson could be the guy that you want in best ball, where it's like in the war of attrition that is the NFL season, I want the guy back half of the year who's going to be coming on strong, which I think will be Colson.
Yeah, and also feels like Perriman's never going to be the guy that gets like over 75% of the snaps.
Yeah.
Whereas Colson and Henley at least have the upside to be like 100% snap share type guys. But yeah, it's. I mean, but with all those prices, like it's not a bad idea. I think to maybe just take a couple of them. If if you're fading linebacker, just get. I would probably go Perriman and Henley. I think at this point.
It's late. I mean,
Yeah.
you're looking at.
I don't want to spend even that. You said linebacker 42 for Colson.
42 for
That's
Colson.
too much.
Yeah.
That's silly.
Yeah, Colson LB 42, and then Perryman is 156.8 overall, with Henley going as 180.2. Henley has slid post draft.
Interesting. I'd imagine he's gonna
He's
tick
going to
up
rise.
though.
He's going to rise.
with all the news.
Let's end with the Denver Broncos. Safety Brandon Jones will be sidelined for the next 1 to 2 weeks with a hamstring injury, Peyton said. Jones, who signed a 3-year, $20 million deal with the Broncos this offseason, appeared to suffer the injury early in Friday's practice. Peyton was complimentary on Wednesday of the early returns on rookie Jonah Ellis, who the Broncos drafted in the 3rd round of April's draft. The evaluation has just begun, but we saw a lot of things that we liked on his college tape. We're encouraged to work with him, and we feel like he can be a contributor. So
Love it, man. That's good stuff.
that's fun.
That was somebody that I was very excited about. We talked about Jonah on our SIG episode, so Big fan. He's one of 10 Ellis brothers.
He is. The whole damn clan is going to be playing in the league at some point, I'd say.
Their dad played for the Lions, I think. So really good genes. But, yeah, I mean, Ellis is a great athlete. I think he had one of the best 3 cones that we've seen in a while. I think I remember it being like up there with Von Miller and Aiden Hutchinson. So good stuff, good athlete.
That could be a nice year to like buy him at the end of this season, especially if he's not doing a whole lot because Baron Browning is in a contract year.
Yep.
And it's Jonathan Cooper and Nick
Who's
Benito.
Also maybe in a contract year too.
I feel like all those guys are sort of in the same kind
Benito maybe has like 2 years left. John Franklin Myers is there, but I don't know what his contract situation is.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to redo that deal.
I think Jonah Ellis has a chance to really get some snaps, maybe this year, but definitely year 2.
It's pretty crowded there right now, so I'm like, I don't know how much running he's going to get year 1 minus injuries, but Benito's there through this year and next. He's a UFA in 2026. We mentioned Baron Browning is a free agent. Let's see what Jonathan Cooper's.
Jonah Ellis, 6'6", 3 cone.
Yeah, there it is.
38-inch vert, 10-foot broad.
What was the RAS?
I'll have to find it.
Yeah, so Jonathan Cooper he is a pending free agent as well. So Jonathan Cooper and Baron Browning both pending free agents.
Yeah, so that's big, man. Ellis is out there on your waivers and all your deep leagues.
Yeah.
I've places where I have room, I've definitely added him. Usually those leagues where I have taxi squad spots, right? That's the leagues where I have like Jonah Ellis and those type guys, those 3rd, 4th round edge rushers.
Jonah Ellis, 8.59 RAS. So there you go.
Good stuff.
All right, folks. We went through probably like 100 training camp nuggets, so hope you all enjoyed. Basically a 2-hour episode here. We told y'all we were going to be hitting the training camp and preseason news heavy this offseason for y'all.
I love this, though. This is
fun.
These are my favorite episodes.
Yeah, because we just get to kind of like dissect and figure out.
It's exciting for us, too. You know, I care about all the news.
Yep.
Just a great time of year.
Great time of year. We'll be doing this basically all off-season up until the start of the season. We'll have some other stuff mixed in. We're going to talk to Mike about his 3-down linebacker projections, an article when that drops.
Mike's crushing it.
Yep. Jeff Pomazal, the IDP Minute over on our Twitter account has been phenomenal. Make sure you're keeping up with that. He is, if you want to be first on the news for IDP, you want to be following at the IDP Show on Twitter and watching the IDP Minute with Jeff every day.
People are calling it the most exciting minute in sports.
It is truly the most exciting minute. A lot of Kentucky Derby fans just turned that off. So thank you for that, Addy. And then also, yes, Jace Abbey is doing our weekly deep dive. So make sure you're tuned in on Mondays. We're running the poll question to figure out who you want to see examined by Jace in article and video format. So make sure you check that out as well. So far, it's been Trenton Simpson and Landman. So 2 guys we mentioned.
Fine choices. I would have chose other players, but
I told Jace, I was like, you're going to have to do just like all edge rushers or all defensive tackles if you want to cover a position besides linebacker.
Everyone wants linebacker, man.
Everybody's just horny for linebackers. So
come on, y'all.
Just branch out. Just try something a little different sometimes.
Change your scoring.
It's okay.
Please.
Please, for the love of God.
Victory scoring. We got it all out there for you.
It's there.
It's the best in the land.
It's on the website as well as IDP Madness registration still open. So make sure you jump in there. I think we're like over 50% filled now, Addy. You've been adding folks to leagues. We'll have some drafts starting here soon. And I'm excited. This is one of the things I look forward to the most every year.
Did y'all win your division last year?
Yeah, I did indeed.
Wow, I came in second. Shout out J Ball.
I was going to say, J Ball, your
first time ever got
buddy.
me.
Yeah, nipped you, didn't he?
Yeah,
so
get J Ball back in it.
Nah,
that's
he's
right.
out.
He's done. He ain't getting that invite.
He's not in your division. I'll make sure of that.
Yeah, we'll put him somewhere else. Yeah,
Okay.
theidpshow.com. Go check it out. We'll fill out a form. We'll send you the league safe invite. And once you pay, we'll get you added to the league. So come check it out. And make sure you're checking out the website as well, y'all. We've had so much good stuff going out here between Mike's linebacker tiers breakdown, which I think is already one of the top 5 articles all time on our website. So thank you all, you linebacker fanatics out there. We've got Jace's articles going live. The IDP After Show is cranking. So just so much good stuff. IDP drafts. We've got the next live stream coming up, the latter third of the IDP Madness mock draft with Johnny, Bobo, Jackson is on that one, Mike Wollert. So check that out as well. We'll maybe try to sneak in another trade show before the season gets here. So just big things, Addy. Big things.
Always. Per use,
yeah. Everyone, all the casuals are back, but it's like, hey, yeah, we've been here since.
Hey guys,
we've been here since the January when we did like.
We've never not been here.
Yeah, we've been here for the past 5 years. Welcome
Yeah.
in. We're happy to have you.
y'all been trading?
No, just been adding.
Yeah, a lot of ad drops right now.
Yep.
A lot of ad drops.
Yep.
So stay
Don't be
tuned.
trading right now. I don't
Yeah.
think it's a wise time to trade.
But tune into the trade show and send us your trades.
Right.
Yeah.
Do that.
We'll tell you not to do them.
Yeah, exactly. We'll trash them
Bad
all so you'll
timing.
stop making
Next.
them. All right, well, thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, next week we're going to talk more training camp news. So if you want to stay plugged in, this
Maybe.
is the podcast to listen to.
Might
so
talk about something else.
might talk about something else.
Bucky's.
Yeah.
Old
sure.
Bucky's sandwich and some
I
Bucky
like
bites.
that.
He had
Should've got
Buc-ee's
me.
today.
That was so good.
That's right. Well,
Sir.
thank you all for
Might head
tuning
back
in.
up.
Till next week, more preseason training camp
24
news.
hours. They're
We'll see
open.
you
They're
then.
open 24
See ya.
hours. Get down to Bucky's.
Until then, y'all take care, and we'll see you soon.